some of them belting that out, and understandably so. No words from Thomas Tuchel, the man to his left, Anthony Barry, singing away though. It's Tuchel's New England, it's the national team's new era, and their job is to win the World Cup in New Jersey. We want to excite, says Thomas Tuchel in the match programme here at Wembley tonight. Go on then, England-Albania, World Cup qualifier, live on Talksport with former England striker Darren Bent, former England captain Stuart Pearce, and your England commentator on Talksport, Jim Proudfoot.
Adrian, thank you, and a very good evening to you at the start of it all. A new coach, a new philosophy, a new way of attacking the same old dilemmas, finding new answers to the age-old conundrum of how to deliver when it matters most to bring a nation's dreams to fruition. So how fitting that it all starts here at home at Wembley Stadium, where just days ago another infamous trophy drought ended so spectacularly. There's your inspiration in black and white. And there are clearly few shades of grey in Thomas Tuchel's mind about what needs to be improved. The fear of failure, the heavy shirt. Take the weight out of that and you might end the weight for honours. Knowing what to do, how to do it, and getting the three lions to deliver are three different things. But tonight brings the first step towards the future. Home qualifiers haven't been a problem for years, so victory tonight wouldn't prove anything. This is a night when the performance will come under microscopic inspection. A first window into the future. An England line-up with Pickford in goal, Walker, Konsa and debutants Byrne and Lewis Skelly, Jones, Rice and Bellingham in midfield, Foden, Kane and Rashford the front three. For Albania, it's Strakosha in goal, Baliu, Ayeti, Jimshiti and Aliyi, Aslani and Ramadani, Asani, Larchi and Barami, and Azuni up front. On the benches for England, James, Gahey, Colwell, Livramento, Jordan Henderson, Eza, Rogers, Gordon, Bowen and Solanke, and keepers Trafford and Dean Henderson. For Albania, it's Mihai, Kumbula, Ismaili, Shehu, Berisha, Payaziti, Mucci, Hodja, Mane, Broya, and their goalkeepers Sherry and Castrati. But before the game starts, Wembley will pause to acknowledge the loss of George Eastham, a member of the victorious 1966 World Cup winning squad, who passed away in December. He was part of the Stoke side who won the League Cup in the early 70s, having already represented both Newcastle and Arsenal with great distinction. He also left a far-reaching legacy to future players with his stance against the retain and transfer system that helped overhaul the transfer market. And George Eastham is remembered now. Remembers George Eastham. England in all white, Albania in their change kit of predominantly black with a little bit of red trim. And it will be England that will get us off and running, kicking from left to right in this first half. So Thomas, the brief is simple. 16 months, the potential of 16 competitive games, and if you can win number 16, footballing immortality will be yours. The journey starts here and now. A little bit of a false start as England just prejudging when the kickoff was going to happen. Now we are underway. Long ball that is launched forward down the Albanian left. Looking for Azuni, and it's well won by Walker. As Konsa was fouled, I'm delighted to say Darren Bent's alongside me, and delighted to say Stuart Pearce is with me as well. Been up to much over the last couple of weeks, Jim?
No, quite a couple of weeks to be fair, Jim. Just been getting myself, doing my prep for this game, obviously.
Yeah, I've heard. It's a free kick which will be taken by England. Just a couple of yards in from the right-hand side. Jordan Pickford standing over it. Just waiting for a little bit of movement ahead of him before he drives the ball forward. He's going to hit it left-footed. over halfway, looking for Harry Kane, who's just dropped off. Bellingham making a good run in behind him. Kane then nodding it on. The Albanians back and turning it away with Jim Shitty inside his own penalty area. Now to play for an England throw, which Kyle Walker is going to come forward to take. 0-0 in the very early stages, a minute gone in Thomas Tuchel's reign. Ball laid back towards the halfway line from that throw. First touch for Dan Burn, and now for Miles Lewis Skelly, who picks up the ball inside the centre circle, works it to his right-hand side, finds Kyle Walker. Every pass in defeat at the moment from England. Curtis Jones getting it forward over the halfway line. Bellingham just dropping it off towards Lewis Skelly again. Dan Burn, another night, is the second in a week that he will remember for the rest of his life, making his international debut. Smoke bomb led off the Albanian contingent away to our right. They've hardly had a touch of the ball through the opening 90 seconds or so. Now Burns have plenty. He's got it again now. Just rolling it forward. And it's a slow, cautious build-up from England in these early stages. A build-up that we're very familiar to seeing. Just trying to draw the Albanians in, not playing at any great tempo yet. Now it's forward towards Jones. Bellingham making a run to the inside left position, just trying to create a little bit of space. The ball worked wide towards Foden, who's got plenty of it as he comes in for the right-hand touchline. Rice to Jones and back again, and now towards Walker and back in towards Curtis Jones, wearing 17 for England. Rice just threading it forward towards Phil Foden. Foden recalled tonight, having only started one of the 6 games under Lee Carsley. Now it's worked back towards Conser towards Burn, and England happy in these early stages, Stu, to take 2 or 3 paces back to take a couple forward.
Yeah, they are. The Albanians have sat back very deep, very compact, and it'll be important that we keep moving that ball 1 and 2 touch, move it from side to side and get isolation and see if we can get some one-on-one scenarios.
Here's Rice. That's space for Foden. Foden will control the ball, sticking out his left foot, bringing it under control. Now working back behind square for Declan Rice, but he's still 20 yards outside the Albanian penalty area. Back from him to Burn. And Lewis Skelly showing a great composure in these early stages, just dropping his shoulder there to get around the challenge of Asani that was coming in. Foden has it again. Back from him to Walker, who's winning his 94th England cap tonight. Now to Dan Burn, only a couple of years his junior, but winning his first. Ball from him to Lewis Skelly. Skelly out to the left-hand side for Marcus Rashford. Back for Lewis Skelly again. Possession literally must be something like 94-95% for England through the opening 3.5-4 minutes. Strakosha hasn't seen the ball anywhere near his goal so far. Lewis Skelly again. Jones showing for a darting run from Marcus Rashford. He's only started 1 Premier League game since signing for Aston Villa. He's been used as a substitute domestically more often than not while starting the European games. Back from Foden to Walker. And now to Gahey, to Burn, and out towards Lewis Skelly, and very quickly stabbed back for Dan Burn. A pretty conservative approach from England through the opening 4 minutes or so. Now they will get runners forward off the ball, and it's played over the top of the Yeti, who is just able to stick a right foot out and get it away from Jude Bellingham, who made that third man run. And England just waiting for the moment to try and draw the Albanians towards them. Fired one over the top, mixed it up a bit, and it nearly came off.
It certainly did. It's the first time we played a forward ball, to be fair, in its first 4.25 minutes, and it nearly got Bellingham in. He made a defined run, should have been tracked nice and comfortably by Ajeti, but he took his eye off the ball slightly, and he nearly got in behind their back line.
Curtis Jones has won the ball back from Asani, the Albanian right winger. Kane's able to pick it up, and he's come really deep again. A player that Thomas Tuchel, of course, knows so well. Worked with him over the course of the 23-24 campaign at Bayern, where Harry scored 44 goals for Tuchel. So it'll be interesting to see with Tuchel knowing exactly how he likes to play and how much he will drop off, exactly how much licence is being given, and the early indications are that nothing is going to change, that Harry will still be playing that centre-forward's role in exactly the same way, Benty.
Yeah, I mean, Harry Kane, we know he's going to drop off from the front, but if he does do that, I think he needs runners, and I think we've seen certainly in this early part of the game, that when he does come off the front, there's got to be runners. We saw Jude Bellingham get in just now. I've seen Phil Foden make a really intelligent run from right inside between the fullback and the centre half, and I think if you've got the ball at your feet, you've got to be brave. I think you've got to be looking to play that pass, because if you're playing in front of them the whole time, it's going to be a long night trying to break this down.
Bellingham down towards Foden. Foden on the bottom right-hand corner of the penalty area. Now from him to Curtis Jones. Jones has it again, but he's still outside the box. Walker's come forward to join the attack. The ball just got stuck between his feet for a moment, and then he was caught, was he? He was right in front of the assistant referee. Says there was no foul by Azuni, and it's going to be a throw to Albania and not a free kick to England, and that will give the Albanians rare possession. They've hardly had a touch through the opening 6 minutes at 0-0.
Yeah, just looking at us in these early stages, you've got Rashford on one wing and Foden on the other. Foden's seen a lot of the ball in these early stages, but hasn't showed an aptitude to take anyone on, because it's probably not part of his game. So I'm going to ask Benny a question. How important is it for Rashford to get on the front foot and do that one-on-one scenario?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think he's got to do that. If he gets the ball to his feet, don't even look to go backwards. Just be positive. Try and get at the fullback. Make him have a think and think, oh, do you know what? I need to defend here. But if he's not going to do that, I think he needs to go short, Piercy, and spin in behind. Use that pace, because all of a sudden they'll drop, and then that will allow more space to play in front of them.
Can't judge anybody on the opening 7 minutes, of course, but I think it's worth making the observation that had England played for 7 minutes like this under Gareth Southgate or Lee Carsley at the start of the game, there might be the odd dissenting murmur, but a long way to go. Ball out of play for a throw, which the Albanians will take in their left back position. They've never qualified for a World Cup. They have finished third in their qualifying group with the last 2 attempts. They did make it to the Euros, of course, where they did okay, and they scored that goal inside 20 seconds against Italy. In Dortmund, getting their tournament off to a fantastic start. It was a game they ultimately lost, but they held Croatia and only lost to Spain by a goal. Here's Bellingham playing the ball back towards Konsa. Konsa to his left-hand side has got Dan Burn. And England again threading the passes together with consummate ease. Not too much pressure on the ball, but England can't find a way to get in behind this well-marshalled Albanian back line. Nice control by Esri Konsa from the long ball that was played forward from the Albanians. He just came to meet it and lays it back towards Jordan Pickford. We've got 8 minutes behind us here on Talksport. It's still 0-0.
Yeah, as I say, we're under 10 minutes at the moment, but we've only played one sort of forward pass that's tested them a little bit, and that nearly caught them out. Even at these early stages, I like to test the opposition. Can we turn them round on the odd occasion? Can we ask questions of their back four?
Rice just controlling it on the edge of the centre circle. To his left-hand side for Lewis Skelly. Back for Rice again. This time it's Curtis Jones that makes the direct run through the middle. The ball was angled wider for Foden. Albania working back for the goalkeeper, and then Jones is really quick to put pressure on Strakosha. He was able to get it away. But all he could do was hammer it upfield. And then Lewis Skelly is fouled, and it's a free kick which will be taken by England over on the left-hand side. Well, Paul Kane, Faker Others, our England correspondent, has reminded me that Thomas Tuchel had told him that he wanted him to stay in the penalty area. He hasn't done that through the opening 9 minutes or so. He's been happy to drop deep, try to draw the centre-halves out of position, but Ayeti and Jim Shitty are taking the bait in these early stages. So England bring it forward again with Lewis Skelly. His right-hand side for Rice. 60s now in terms of international caps for him. Walker to Burn. So with Skelly again. Just working it back, surveying the options, able to get it forward then towards Harry Kane, who plays it back to England's newest international. Now towards the left-hand side again. It's a lovely drop in the shoulder, that by Bellingham and Rashford. Good combination between the pair of them, but when it's laid back towards the edge of the penalty area, it fell to Azuni and not to Rice, and was easily cleared. Now to play for a throw.
Yeah. I think when games finish and you look at games, the question you've got to ask is, how many times has that ball come in the box? How many times have we had the ball in crossing areas? And if you're a centre forward, and I'm sure Bentley will have a comment on this, in regard, what do you want as a centre forward?
Well, you want the early cross, especially when it's the games like this and it's really tight and they're defending really deep. When you get into those areas just outside the box or just wide of the box, it's got to be quickly. I think it's got to be whipped across low for someone to come onto it.
They're working forward here towards the edge of the penalty area, and it's only half cleared. Falling Rashford's way. Bellingham with his back to the direction of play and lays it back for Rashford again. Rice helps it on. Walker's first touch wasn't great. His second one became a tackle. He won that tackle and tried to work it down towards Foden. Although he's got to retrace his steps pretty quickly, he has got possession back. And then Conser will play in the tall blonde-haired Dan Burn. Northumberland's favourite sons plays it for. Out to the left-hand side now for Lewis Skelly. Drop back at the feet of Dan Burn again. The oldest England debutant today since Kevin Davis back in 2010. He was 33 when he won his England cap, Davis. Burn, just a few weeks short of his 33rd birthday, has his. Can't imagine that this will be one and out for him. Ball in towards the feet of Rice. Not that I'm disparaging anybody that's got merely one England cap, because that is one more than nearly everybody. So it wasn't taken as an insult at all, please don't. The Albanians, on the edge of their own penalty area, can get it back for Strakosha again. He's playing his club football in Greece now, having left the bench at Brentford. Boomed forward by him. Headed back by Rice. Nicely taken down by Kane in the midfield. And then a good ball swept forward towards the left-hand side of the penalty area. Rashford chasing after that, gets there first. Bellingham pulled off towards the edge of the box. He can set up Rice. Back for Walker, and very quickly there are 10 Albanians between Kyle Walker and the goal again. And it's now 11 as Zuni drops back in. England maintaining possession, go back for Curtis Jones. Was better from England, good movement, but again, no real sign of any end product, and that has been the watchword so far. Foden coming forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Peels away from the corner of the box to find Rice. Back from him to Jones. Foden to Jones. Walker in space for him, but Jones will just bring it forward into the more congested central midfield area, and he's now put under significant pressure by Zuni, the striker. Walker's got it though. Foden rolling in Jones, right hand side of the box, and he's turned and got away from Aslani. He's balled it back through the 6-yard box, where Jim Shitty on the stretch is able to get the ball away.
Yeah, I think it's really important that England don't turn the opportunities to get turned, face the opposition's goal, and give little give and goes, 1-2s. Otherwise you're letting the Albanians off the hook a little bit.
England's under-21s in action as well tonight. They're just underway in a match away to France. It's being played in Lorient. And we'll keep you updated with that. And Northern Ireland's international as well. They've got a friendly at home to Switzerland, which is 0-0 through the opening 15 minutes. We're about a minute or so behind them here. And it remains goalless and chanceless in the early stages. Well, with the exception of caretakers who've been drafted in for one game, the last 11 England managers have got off to a winning start. The last one who didn't, Bobby Robson. Thanks to Bobby back in 1982 in a 2-2 draw with Denmark. There's only been one England manager, a permanent England manager, who's ever lost his first game in charge. That was Sir Alf. And it all ended up all right for him. Ball forward from Jones to Rice. Got it inside the centre circle. Plays it out to the left for Lewis Skelly. Controls it and works it back. He's still short of 18 and a half, Lewis Skelly. And one of the youngest England players, and it'll be the subject of our trivia question coming up in about 15 minutes time or so, is Conser. Picks up the ball, and he's just flighty 1-4 for the run from Walker. That's headed away. Jim Shitty will volley it high up in the air. It barely clears the penalty area. Ramadani can get it further clear. Back from Byrne. Then Rice facing Byrne just nods it back to the Newcastle man. And England build and quickly work it out towards Lewis Skelly on the England left-hand side, but still 0-0 with 15 gone.
Yeah, I think there's got to be times you put the ball in the box and look for seconds on occasion. Even though it looks semi-scruffy, you can see an element of panic in the back line where they're stretching for headers and nodding the ball down towards the edge of the box.
Foden worked the ball in there, and Yeti, the bold-headed centre-half, got the ball clear. He's playing on the right of the two centre-halves now that Jim Shitty is back. He's playing on the left through the Nations League campaign, where Albania went into the final game hoping to get promoted. They ended up finishing bottom. Lost the match at home to Ukraine and have been relegated into League C as a result of that. Lucky to go now with 7 points from their 6 games. Konsa back for Byrne. Out of the England left-hand side again for Rashford, who's dropped off, allowing Lewis Skelly to make a darting run forward towards the edge of the penalty area this time. Byrne back out to the England left-hand side for Bellingham. Bellingham just dispenses with the ball and nonchalantly runs, drawing defenders with him in towards the edge of the penalty area. There's some space either side of him. It's a work back for Byrne. Bellingham's got it again now, can take the ball on the half turn and neatly pirouette. Work it out of the England left-hand side for Rashford. Rashford with a chance to commit his man. He's beaten 2, works it infield for Bellingham. Might break Rashford's way in towards Kane, and the touch just a little bit heavy under duress. Strakosha comes out and pounces on the ball, and that's England's best moment 16 minutes in.
Yeah, it was, and it come from a scruffy piece of play where there was a little 1-2 and the ball's bobbled around a little bit, and sometimes you've got to do that. You've got to create chaos in the opposition's backline. Yeah,
I agree, Piercy. I think there at times the movement's still not quite crisp enough. I think a lot of people are still coming to feet. I mean, Jude Bellingham there, he tried something and he got a bit fortunate and he went through, but I just think with the movement as well, they're making it quite easy for Albania to defend. Like, at times you've got Phil Foden, Curtis Jones, Harry Kane all on the same line. No one's really pulling off trying to create space, and I think if you're Thomas Tuchel looking at this early part of the game, you're probably thinking, well, can we move them around a little bit, because defensively they're quite comfortable at the minute, Albania.
Yeah, as you say, if you stop play at any given time, all the England front line, if they say let's 5, they're all facing backwards to the ball, not being on the shoulder, on the half turn, looking to pirouette and spinning behind.
Well, we played 17 minutes. 91% possession through 17 minutes is an extraordinarily high amount. But England haven't had a single attempt for all of the ball that they've had. Possession for possession's sake, just trying to wear down this Albania back line.
Do you know what, Jim, as well? If someone movement in the top end of the pitch, even if you know you're not going to get the ball, just to try and disturb it, someone make a run in behind where you know you're not going to get the ball, just to free up a little bit of space for somebody else, that might help, because at the minute the Albanian defensively are just 5 yards out of their position, then back into shape. No one's having to really cross over, no one's having to move, no one's even having to sprint really.
Pickford drives the ball forward, just his 3rd touch of the night so far. Looking for Foden, it's gone over the head of the left back Ali, and then out of play for a throw, which Foden leaves for Walker. It's taken quickly back for Curtis Jones. Burns got it. Talksport here at Wembley, 18 minutes in, and it's 0-0 and literally chanceless up to this point. Jim Proudfoot, Stuart Pearce, Darren Bent talking through the action. The correspondent Faker others will be asking all the important questions of the men that matter at the end of the game. It'll be very interesting to see Thomas Tuchel's reaction to this opening 18 minutes would be, if you could take a time out and say, is this how you envisaged it going? Because I would imagine the answer would be no. Certainly been no undue alarms defensively. But England yet to create anything at all. Konsa, Bellingham, that's the good ball forward. Lewis Skelly checks in. Oh, what a start to his international career. Wonderful moment. As the ball is played forward, it's England the lead. Bellingham side-footing it through, and Lewis Skelly drawing the goalkeeper, slots it underneath him. An 18-year-old goal scorer on his debut, the first of Thomas Tuchel's reign. Tears in his eyes as he takes the acclaim of his teammates. 6 months ago, he never even played for Arsenal. Now he's scored for England. England 1, Albania 0.
Well, life doesn't get any better than that for a young man making his England debut. It's the first time he's been in advanced areas, and I've got to say, Bellingham's done brilliantly. Got turned, got his head up and played a fantastic through pass straight through, but that's come from Skelly being right on the shoulder of his man that's followed him back on the half turn, looking to go in behind the back line, and a fantastic finish when he did get in.
Absolutely lovely. He kept his composure when you get into that area, and for a fullback you'd probably say usually you get there and you might panic, you might go a bit too quickly, but he just remained calm, composed, just waiting for the goalkeeper to open his legs and just rolled it through. But as Piercy said there, it's the movement right on that shoulder. Rashford had pulled in, he ran in behind, great goal.
Does Benty not know he sat next to fullback Rory that used to score a goal? Unbelievable.
That's why I said it.
Well, he scored one against Manchester City in the Premier League. That's only the 2nd goal of his career for club or country. And at 18 years and 176 days, one of the youngest England goal scorers of all time. What a story for him. 1-0 England lead with the first shot of the night. And the last time that England played Albania here, they were 5 up at half-time with a Harry Kane hat-trick. The fact that they found the breakthrough now, does that mean that proverbial floodgates will do their thing? Foden trying to take his man on, Lee, who's tracked him all the way back towards the dead ball line. Foden still got it, poked back for Jones in a little bit of space, who tried to improvise a back heel for Walker, who was very quickly closed down there by Lodge. The ball goes out of play for a throw, which Walker has taken quickly back for Concept. 1-0 England. Miles Lewis Skelly on 20 minutes.
Yeah, we just had an interaction there. Foden's picked the ball up, didn't come backwards for once, went forwards, which was fantastic, and drove his fullback right back to the byline. And when it come back to Curtis Jones has got to whip that in the box. If you're a centre forward and that doesn't arrive, well, you're so disappointed. It's a great opportunity.
A free kick has been given Albania's way. What was judged as a push by Marcus Rashford on Ivan Balju, the right back, who's played more than 100 games in La Liga for Rayo Vallecano, a Spanish-born player that declared for Albania relatively recently. It's only his 8th cap tonight, the veteran, and that's a soft free kick. There was a little bit of contact from Rashford in his back, but he made sure the referee realised. The referee tonight, incidentally, is Alejandro Hernandez, who has officiated one England game before. You might remember it was a match against Hungary here in 2021. He gave a really controversial penalty against Luke Shaw for a high foot, which was deemed to be in the penalty area and deemed to be too high. Shaw didn't think that either were the case, but the penalty was given against, and that match ended 1-1. It's his first England game since then. Byrne gets the ball back for Pickford, who side puts it out towards Walker in front of us. Play forward to Foden. Foden's midway inside his own half as he picks it up here and lays it back to the edge of the penalty area for Consi. With Talksport, it's 1-0 to England. Tomorrow, you kick off your weekend with game day breakfast from 6 o'clock tomorrow morning with Natalie Sawyer and Tony Cascarino, who will be joined by a host of special guests, including Everton keeper Asmir Begovic. And on Sunday, first ever British WWE World Champion Drew McIntyre joins him in the Talksport studio. It's game day breakfast from 6 this Saturday and Sunday here on Talksport. England in possession now with Rice. Play forward by him to Konsa, to Byrne, and out towards Lewis Skelly, who will be absolutely thrilled. I bet he's floating out there at left back at the moment. Ball worked forward by Konsa towards Kane, and Ezri Konsa gets it back again. 1-0 England.
I don't think it'd be a bad idea for England in the build-up to get their fullbacks. We've got the goal from a fullback being very aggressive with his position. I'd like to see Walker go high and wide as well when we've got comfortable build. And then Foden potentially, and maybe Rashford, can come off their perches slightly and put some pressure on the Albanian backline to spin in behind. Rice can always drop in and make a 3 to build up. And I just think that might sort of be a little bit more helpful.
Rice down towards the England right-hand side here for Walker. Foden takes over. Back from him to Jude Bellingham, turning one way and then the other. He's now got more caps for England before his 22nd birthday than anybody else in the nation's history, beating Wayne Rooney's record. Jude on 41 now. And the ball with Curtis Jones. Jones to his right-hand side for Jude Bellingham. It's a pretty muted atmosphere here at Wembley.
I think the slow build-up in many ways, Jim, has probably dampened it slightly. You know, we've not seen the ball flashing in the box, crosses, that type of thing, which normally gets the crowd off their seats.
And the strength of the Albanians going forward is their counter-attack. In the first opportunity to try and launch one is just snuffed out in its infancy there by Kane, who's done well to win it back in the midfield and then lends it from his right foot to his left to get away from Ramadani. He's still got it, Kane, bustling around, put under pressure by further pressure by Ramadani, but he was able just to lay the ball back towards Konsa, and now pings another one of those great balls over the top, which has just come off the chest of Rashford and through to Strakosha.
Yeah, think when Thomas Tuchel talked about the interactions on a pitch, I would look, if you're talking about marginal gains, the time we've played a forward ball into the box that's caused disturbance within their back line. We've got the goal from it, a couple of other instances. I'd like to see it happen a bit more readily though, Jim.
Well, England so far have had more than 10 times as many successful passes as Albania. It's 265 to 26 through the opening 26 minutes. Srikoshi gets the ball at his feet here and has to just chip it forward hurriedly. Coming to meet it was Walker, heading it on as a foul by Jones, and a free kick to Albania that they've taken quickly. They're trying to set up a 4 against 4. Azuni breaking forward. He's got options to his right-hand side. Hassani's made his run inside the penalty area. An opportunity to try and deliver for Lachi, and on the stretch, Dan Burn steers it towards his own goal. Pickford comes out, tries to deal with it, and in the end has to just paddle it behind for an Albanian corner.
I'll tell you what, that's ended up hitting the top of our crossbar, you know. Dan Burn's got the first block, it's hit the crossbar, stayed alive, and Dan Burn's headed it above the goalkeeper out wide. Alarming thing there, and we've seen it a couple of times over sort of the last year or so. When the opposition have counter-attacked, we had sort of 4 players advanced up the pitch. The recovery run's got to be slightly quicker.
Yeah, Jones thought he was fouled, and when the free kick didn't go his way, England had completely lost their shape. Corner comes in, it's easily knocked away. Not the best delivery from Aslani. Second phase of play is a deeper ball out towards Ayeti. The centre-half still forward. Byrne heads that away. Falls for Ayeti. Right-footed effort. Big appeals for a handball against Byrne. Back in the second phase of play. Azuni heading that towards goal, but the offside flag is up. And it's a free kick to England. Well, they haven't had very much defending to do, but when the Albanians have had it inside England's final third, England have looked a little bit shaky. Yeah,
they certainly have. But I'll tell you what, they've been fortunate that Dan Burn's been around with his extra height. He's got his head on a couple of bits and pieces and a good block as well.
Well, we look at England's backline as a little bit more calm, but when you make teams defend, there's a little bit of panic, and we've seen that with England just there in that last little minute. That's what England could do to Albania. The only one who looks like he's prepared to make that type of pass if someone makes the run is Harry Kane, and already Thomas Tuchel has said he wants him to stay higher up, but I can understand why Harry Kane drops into those pockets, because he wants to pick up the ball, he wants to see those runners, and now we've got to get other people like Declan Rice, Curtis Jones trying to look for that same pass.
Well, those are the thoughts of former England international Darren Bent here at Wembley with us tonight here on Talksport. Northern Ireland 1, Switzerland 1 in Belfast. Isaac Price had given Northern Ireland the lead. Sierra has just equalised for the Swiss. And goal-laden start in Lorient in that under-21 international. 7 minutes in, it was France 2, England 1. Rico Lewis, who's surplus to requirements at the moment for the England full national squad, had given England a second-minute lead. 5 minutes later, England found themselves behind, and it's still 2-1 to France in that under-21 international, which is about 13-14 minutes old. Pickford playing the ball out of the left-hand side of the penalty area, where Dan Burn, growing in confidence all the time, side foots the ball forward down the inside left channel. Play back by Bellingham to Curtis Jones. Coming in off the right-hand touchline is Foden, who's tried to curb one into the path of Rashford, but it's overhit. Gone out of play for a goal kick that'll be taken by Srikoshi. What have you made of Rashford so far, bearing in mind that he's been so lightly raced recently? He's only had 1 Premier League start since the 1st of December. Hasn't played for England since this time last year. What have you made of his opening half hour?
Well, of the 2 wide players, he is the one to go past people. So if he doesn't do it, I think we're going to be very, very limited on what we do in the wide areas. So that would give me encouragement if I was Rashford. I've got to say, I've got to spin without the ball, and I've got to go with the ball. I would have liked to have seen him be a little bit more aggressive in his play from the first whistle, because as a fullback, the last thing you want is the winger to get on the half turn and go and take you on in the first 2 minutes of the game.
Yeah, certainly that first little bit of movement as well. If he goes short and spins in behind as a fullback, as you said there, Pierce, you're thinking, oh, I'm in for a long evening. And I think Rashford, he's done it on a couple of occasions, but as I said, I mean, Lewis Skelly just got it, Dan Burns got it, he's come short spun, and no one's played him that pass. And as a forward, it can be a little bit frustrating, but that's where he needs to go. Do you know what? Keep doing it, because eventually he'll get that pass and he's in on goal.
England leading by a goal to nil, and it's been, well, predominantly comfortable in the extreme. It's that nervy 90 seconds or so that they had defensively. They've given the ball away here. Rashford just guilty of ball watching, and Yeti came in from behind him and just walked past him. He stepped up from the defensive line to win it back, and now finds himself on the right wing, and he's won a throw down towards the corner flag as a result of that, and Rashford just oblivious to the fact that he was going to step up and beat him.
Well, I think there was a bit of being oblivious and a little bit of I don't want to get hurt here and a potential challenge. Now, when you wear your national colours, you cannot back away from challenges like that.
Throw to be taken on the Albanian right-hand side. 31 minutes into Thomas Tuchel's reign. Miles Lewis Skelly with the goal. And England lead by a goal to nil here at Wembley, with the Albanians on the front foot. Ball chipped inside the penalty area, easily volley clear by Konsa. Yeti chasing after it, will pick it up over on the Albanians' right, and he just went over the line and out of play for a throw. He's got a fair bit of experience, Alinda Yeti, who was in the side that beat Romania in the Euros back in 2016. He's currently playing his club football in Turkey. And for Bodrum, Jim Shitty, who's alongside him, they're playing in Serie A for high flyers Atalanta. And so they do have some experience. The first yellow card of the game is shown here to the retreating Asani. Doesn't like the fact that he's even had a free kick given against him for a shove on Jude Bellingham, but a yellow card is shown. And in fact, it's Jim Shitty who's gone in the book. I can only imagine that's for dissent after complaining about Asani's earlier challenge.
Yeah, looks that way. I think he's pointing to his armband and suggesting, why can't I have a chat with you? I'm the captain.
So Jim Shitty in the book. He was part of the Atalanta side that won the Europa League, and they beat Bayer Leverkusen. Here's Foden, back from him to his club teammate Carl Walker. And now Byrne will be able to bring it forward. And out towards Lewis Skelly, who's attempted pass towards Rashford was blocked, but straight out of play off Asani for a throw that'll be taken over on the England left-hand side with 12 minutes to go to half-time here on Talksport. So time to unearth tonight's England trivia question. And Lewis Skelly has become the 11th youngest England international tonight. So only 10 people have ever played for England at a younger age than Miles Lewis Skelly, but 6 of those 10 have made their England debuts this century. So within the last 25 years. Who are the 6, and which of the 6 had made the fewest club appearances at the time of their England debut? I'll go through it again in a moment. As England bring it forward again, left-hand side of the penalty area. Yeti couldn't make the block. Strakosha comes out, denies Bellingham. Right-footed shot from Kane is blocked. Big appeals for a handball, but the referee's put his whistle to mouth and given a free kick the other way. I think for a shove by Kane inside the penalty area as he came to meet it. Didn't appear to be an awful lot in that, but the free kick has gone Albania's way.
Yeah, chance created there. Ball arrived at Rashford's feet. He gets it on the half turn and he starts driving at his fullback. That's what I want to see more often.
It was much more encouraging from Marcus Rashford. Jones doing really well to pick up a loose ball in the midfield, just dispossessing Aslani. Back from Jones again. So that trivia question once more. Now we'll talk about it again at half time. We'll give you the answer about 15-20 minutes into the second half. But there have been 6 younger England internationals than Miles Lewis Skelly this century. Who are the 6? And your bonus is, which of the 6 had the fewest first-team club appearances when they made their debut? Pickford will play the ball out. It's 1-0 to England. Lewis Skelly with the goal on his England debut tonight. Konsa getting it forward towards the right-hand side of midfield. Bellingham trying to link up with Foden. Bellingham's been playing it inside left for a lot of the time, but has just gravitated down towards the right-hand side now with Rice pushing out at the left. Lewis Skelly brings it forward towards halfway. Back from him for Ezri Konsa. And then he side foots it forward towards Jude Bellingham. Bellingham tried to find a way through, couldn't get past the Albanian captain Jim Shitty. Ali put under immediate pressure, telling pressure from Kane. Kane working in towards Foden, edge of the penalty area. One touch too many, no, maybe not. Bellingham takes over, tries to poke it forward. The Albanians clear, and Jones with a little header through the midfield, can't find a teammate. And now they will be able to break quickly with Larchin. And towards the right-hand side where Baliu and Asani are working in tandem. Good ball through, Azuni chasing after it. Might have been offside, but Pickford will come out and he's able to pick it up anyway and bowls it out for Curtis Jones. 10 to go to half-time, it's 1-0 to England.
Yeah, good opportunity there for England to break. They turned the opportunity down to play the ball in behind. Rashford made a decent run there, and I think they're the situations. Goalie gets the ball, throws it out quickly, go forward, look for a forward pass.
It feels as though not an awful lot has changed through the opening 35 minutes, and I suppose that's maybe to be expected when you bear in mind that there have only been 3 training sessions so far. Everybody very eager to impress, and the watchword from Thomas Tuchel has been that England need to play without pressure, but telling somebody don't panic, don't feel as though you're under pressure, maybe sometimes that can have the opposite effect. But not a lot has changed. It's going to be really interesting if the first 35 minutes are representative of the whole 90, to hear your views on the sports bar later on. Jamie O'Hara and Carlton Cole are taking your calls. We'll also have Faker Others bringing you all the reaction from the tunnel. And you can also check out our latest debrief podcast on the Talksport YouTube channel tonight. The team here will be reviewing tonight's performance. At the moment, I think it's fair to say there's some room for improvement, but the scoreline is good. 1-0 England lead with 8 to go to half-time.
Well, there's a couple of good things here. Firstly, we've got the goal, which has calmed the management down, I'm sure, getting our nose in front. Secondly, as well, at least this game will give Thomas Tuchel a reference point about how the team do play coming out of this game, going into the next one.
Konsa getting the ball forward towards Rice. Rice down towards Foden. Good movement ahead of him down the touchline from Jones, who'd drawn Ramadani out of position to be able to find it. Foden's got it again now. Foden to Jones and back for Kyle Walker with a white sweatband around his right wrist. Laid back by him to Byrne, and then out to the goal scorer Lewis Skelly. Comes in off the left-hand touchline. Couldn't work it forward towards Marcus Rashford. An opportunity for Larchi to bring it away. He's found Asani in the heart of the midfield for Albania in their black kit with the red trim. Ball hurriedly, after pressure was applied, played out to the left-back Ali. And then Jim Shitty looked as though he really didn't want it, and has laid it square through the midfield, away from Ramadani, and out to the Albanian right-hand side where Asani has won a throw. 7 to go to half-time. It's England 1, Albania 0. Here's Darren Bent.
Yeah, I think there's opportunity certainly for England to play the ball forward, and I think that's where they're getting caught in possession. I mean, Phil Foden took up a really intelligent position just on this right-hand side. He came in, Harry Kane's almost pointing to him where he wants the ball, and he looks at him and turns away. And I think when you do that and turn down those opportunities to pass the ball forward, that just allows Albania again to get back into shape. And if you're Thomas Tuchel, that's probably one of the things this first half we'd say needs to be better. You need to move the ball quicker, because defensively they're getting back so quickly and there's not a lot of space in front of them. At some point you're going to have to just turn them behind, make them face their own goal.
Curtis Jones has got the ball. He's played it to his left-hand side for Declan Rice. England back in action Monday night, as I'm sure you're aware. It's Latvia who come to Wembley for that game, and that is also live right here on Talksport. Walker going back behind square for Jones. Rice coming forward onto it. Back from him to Jones again. Rice on the half turn. Jones has got everybody ahead of him as he's played it forward. Byrne to Kane, to Byrne to Rice. England string the passes. A good run forward here from Walker. Right hand side of the penalty area. Just bobbles across the edge of the 6-yard box. Diving header. And then Kane on the follow-up. Sees it deflected over the bar. Good defending. Bellingham's effort. Well saved by Strakosha. And then Kane coming onto it, opening up his body, looking to fire it into the roof of the net for his 70th international goal. It's a brilliant block from Jim Shitty.
Well, there was a couple of things there. Walker turned the opportunity down of taking someone on and crossing earlier on. A couple of seconds later, he put the ball in the box, and there was that chaos again. And I'll tell you what, Bellingham has done brilliantly to get his head on that. It was only one person. The goalie's made a point-blank save, and from the resulting ball out, Kane's managed to get a shot on target, and great defending there that's deflected it over the bar.
Yes, magnificent block. Goal-saving intervention from the Albanian captain to deny Kane his 5th goal in 3 games against this opposition. He's got such a good record in qualifiers. 17 goals in 14 World Cup qualifiers in his career. Nearly able to extend that there. So England have their first corner. 5 minutes to go to half-time. Plenty of air underneath it. Burn going up for it. And it's deflected away and goes out for another corner, unable to repeat Sunday's heroics.
Well, Dan Burns shown his worth defensively and aerially. He's certainly done exactly the same again. He's got a header on that. Personally, I didn't see a deflection. He's disappointed with himself, but we've got another opportunity to put the ball in the box.
Scored here for Yeovil, scored for Newcastle. Yet to score here for England. That is first chance for his country. So Declan Rice will take the corner. It's going to be a right-footed away swinger from the England right as they look to double their advantage. Coming up to half-time. It's in towards Bernie Carlos. Great save, Strakosha. Threw a right hand up. And but for that, both of England's defensive debutants would have scored inside the opening 45 minutes of their international career.
Well, another point-blank save by the goalkeeper, done extremely well. But Dan Burn, once again, showing his value aerially in the box, and him and Lewis Skelly have had very solid starts, I think, the pair of them. Fantastic header by Burn.
It's like 2018 all over again. England reliant on the corners and the set pieces for Maguire, Reed, Burn.
It was a combination. I think it was the goalkeeper's arm, actually. I thought it was a crossbar for a moment. Yeah, I think it was a combination of both.
In comes this latest corner. Again, Burn is the target. That one, after a first touch off an Albanian player, is hammered away, and then the break could be on after a poor defensive touch from the retreating Bellingham. Retreating Lewis Skelly, I beg your pardon. He's just under pressure and off balance, trying to divert it back to the edge of his own penalty area. Walker was able to mop up, and England get it forward and out of harm's way. It goes all the way back to Strakosha, the Albanian keeper, who is first choice these days. He was second choice in the Euros. Only made 6 appearances in his couple of years at Brentford, cross town from here, but he's produced a couple of blinding saves tonight. 1-0 England lead with 2.5 minutes to go to the break. That's a throw which will be taken on the Albanian left-hand side by Aliyin. Back through the midfield from Larchi, and that was neatly done because there's space for Ramadani to bring it forward. Controlled by Barami, the Rangers man, scored that very early goal against Italy in the Euros. He's scored 5 goals, including one in the League Cup final this season for Rangers. Ball goes back out to the Albanian right. England defensively have had very little to worry about so far. And in terms of the stats, it's now 80-20 in terms of possession. 6 shots to 1 for England, and they've had all 4 on target that we've seen so far tonight. The Albanians are able to bring the ball down in the midfield, and Ramadani works it to his right-hand side for Larchi. Diagonal ball forward from him for Aslani, and coming in off the touchline, a left-footed effort, flies well over the bar, and he's claiming a deflection. Nothing given. Goal kick.
Yeah, I must say I've been a little disappointed with the Albanians, and I'm pleased to say that, to be quite honest with you. I think they've been really disappointing tonight. They've had the odd flirtation when they've counter-attacked, but yeah, in the main they've sat back, and I think we've let them off the hook in many ways.
Talk about your chance to react after the game tonight on the Sports Bar. Sunday morning we'll be hearing the reaction from Sean Dyche after England's performance tonight, and he'll be looking ahead as well to the game against Latvia on Monday, because on Sunday we've got a special show here on Talksport. Johnny Owen joined by Sean Dyche, discussing a range of topics from his time at Everton and his thoughts on tonight's performance as well. It's Johnny Owen and Sean Dyche this Sunday on Talksport. That's from midday. England in possession with Dan Burns, 15 yards inside his own half. We've only got about 20 seconds to go to half time, and there won't be much to be added on, if indeed any. Curtis Jones, ball played through the midfield towards Kane. Kane to Konsa. Forward from Konsa. Jones taking it and then working it back towards Kyle Walker. And again, England's build-up a little bit slow. They've made their way forward into Albanian territory. And that's the end of the first half of Thomas Tuchel's first game. England stringing literally hundreds of passes together. And initially not creating an awful lot, but a wonderful moment for 18-year-old Miles Lewis-Skelly on his debut, getting on the end of a sublime through ball from Jude Bellingham. And Thomas Strakosha's kept Albania in it after that. England not with a glut of chances, but with a deserved lead. It's England 1, Albania 0.
Yeah, Miles Lewis-Skelly must be feeling so good as he walks off the pitch, wiping his face with his shirt. He's put in some shift in that first half, actually, down that left-hand side. Just 14 Premier League appearances for him, but he becomes England's third youngest goal scorer behind Michael Owen and the record holder Wayne Rooney. He's one of your 6, by the way. Less than 2 years ago, Lewis-Skelly was in the Arsenal team, hammered 5-1 at the Emirates Stadium by West Ham in the FA Youth Cup final. 15 months ago, he was getting dragged in a 3-0 Bristol Street Motors defeat at Peterborough United. But now it's a surprise if he doesn't start in the Premier League and Champions League. And Darren Bent, he's an England goal scorer. We were so impressed with him in the build-up to that goal, weren't we?
Yeah, he was. I mean, the intelligence to stay high and wide, and I just noticed where the space was. I mean, Marcus Rashford pulled into a really good area off the front, and that just allowed that space. But once he got in there, I think that was the most impressive thing. Composure. A lot of players in that scenario, certainly when you're a young player, you try and smash it as hard as you can, or you pick the wrong option. He just kept ice cold, composed, and just rolled it between the goalkeeper's leg. It was a really, really good finish, and one little bit of quality, one little bit of movement, and you find themselves in. And England didn't do that enough that first half, but in that particular situation, I thought Miles Lewis-Skelly was superb.
And you know what? I love that story as well. We talked about the Dan Burns story, but I love that story. He's clearly had, I've just mentioned them, a couple of setbacks in his career, and at a young age, 16, 17, both those, I'm thinking, actually, they could really affect you badly. They could affect your confidence, they could affect the way you perform, the way you go out there and express yourself. He just instantly bounces back from those, walks into the Arsenal first team, solves a problem for Mikel Arteta this season, scores against Man City, now scores for England. It's a hell of a story. Jack Wilshere was his youth coach at Arsenal, once said of the youngster that he did things that you cannot coach. Clearly everybody along the way, despite a couple of setbacks, has seen this kid is something special.
Absolutely special. And even a couple of the bookings and the red cards he's taken this season as well. These are things, as a young player, you might go, might be a bit apprehensive now in the next challenge. You might overthink things. He just lets it just go. Each game that comes up, he still turns up. He plays really well. For Arsenal, he's turned into their first choice left back. He's got an opportunity here for England. He looks like he could be first choice left back for England as well. But he just looks so comfortable. Whatever level he's been asked to step up to, he's done it. And again tonight, he's kept up with a goal. And his last couple of months, he probably can't believe it. He probably thought to himself, you have to have inner self-belief. He probably believed that. But what he's got to now and what he's achieved at 18 years old already, he's got to be thinking, where can I get to? And for me, surely holding down that position for England has got to be at the forefront of his mind.
And Stuart Pearce, the amazing thing is, predominantly in his youth career, Miles Lewis-Skelly has been a midfielder. He's now been pushed out wide, and he does look at home there. He looks like he could, as Darren said, make that position his own in this England side.
Yeah, and I think sometimes when these youngsters have played a slightly different position, when they're needed to get on the ball in tighter areas, they've got so much freedom in that wide area. You think, well, there's no one else on the pitch in many ways. And to be fair to him, what a week he's had, him and Dan Burn. You know, Dan scored in a cup final, and I think the pair of them have probably been the two standout players for England. I really do. And if I was Lewis-Skelly now, I would say, I've been advanced up the pitch once and I've scored a goal. I would start to sort of smuggle my way up and that's a Dutch word there, smuggle my way up the pitch, as Hullet used to say, and try and arrive, and that might help Rashford get a bit more space as well. And I still feel as though for this 45 minutes we've let the Albanians off the hook a little bit. They look very nervous. We played the ball in the box on maybe 5 or 6 occasions. Every time I felt something might happen.
I'll tell you what, Stu, you've hit the nail on the head with that. I've been watching this, other than the goal, been very, very frustrated, taking too many touches, passing backwards when something forward was on just too often. I think Thomas Tuchel, Stuart, might be giving him a bit of a rocket in the dressing room.
Well, a rocket in the correct manner, you know. I think I don't want to get a downer on Phil Foden, but I think the position he's playing, we probably need somebody that's going to get on the half turn and go and take the fullback on a regular basis. Rashford started to do it the longer the half went on. I think in this formation with a centre forward like we've got, you need those two wide areas, and we said this back in the tournament in the summer. You need players to get turned and go and take players on, because if you don't and it comes back all the time, too easy for Albania.
And actually, a couple of flashes from Harry Kane coming deep or going wide, putting in amazing passes, but Thomas Tuchel has talked about staying in position, and his position is centre forward, so I'm slightly confused about that, because he's done good things but not stayed in his position, Darren.
It's difficult when you're a centre forward and you're getting isolated, you're not getting many touches, you ultimately end up dropping deeper and deeper. But you've seen it already, when he drops into those little pockets of space, I feel like he's the only one, not only that he's the only one who could do it, but he's the only one willing to try it. And I think that's what England have lacked, certainly that first half, is that every single time someone's had the opportunity to get their head up and play that pass, they haven't. Whereas as soon as he gets it, because he's a centre forward and he knows how he wants the ball, his first thought is, where can I hurt the opposition? And he's played a couple of lovely passes, and if you're Thomas Tuchel, you've got to go in there at half time and say, Declan, Harry Kane can't be the one playing these passes, you've got to do it, or Curtis Jones. And that's the kind of problems that England have had, not just this game, but under Gareth Southgate, him dropping too deep.
Yeah, it was a bit of a Southgate performance that first half. Let's see if they can enhance it in the second half. No panic as yet. England are leading in this World Cup qualifier. We're pretty confident they may well get to that World Cup next summer in Mexico, USA and Canada. But we were promised we were going to be excited by the football, but so far that really hasn't happened. So far, Darren Bent has got one of the 6 answers from Jim Proudfoot's little teaser. Who did you go for?
I went for Theo Walcott.
Is that he's got a little bit of a nod from Jim Proudfoot? Is that right?
Yeah, Theo's one of them.
Okay, I might have a few others. I'm just going to work on fine-tune them for a few moments. I'll get back to you in just a second. But here at Wembley, live on Talksport, England under Thomas Tuchel for the first time lead by a goal to nil.
Talksport Bet. If you want to flutter, punters know it's the only place to go. 'Cause you get the form and the latest odds across your sync devices. Plus weekly bet boost prices. Win big jackpots from a classic game of slots. Talksport Bet, the broadcast bonus bookie, keeping you on track with all the sporting stats. Steeple chases, even title races, looking after sports fans. You know, 'cause Talksport Bet is the app that does all that. It's the only place to go.
18 plus begambleaware.org. Choice on point. Quality on point. Price on Motorpoint. Over 1,000 new cars every week. Fiat 500s, Qashqais, Ford Pumas, BMW 1 Series and more. Fully inspected cars with warranty. Find thousands of cars at motorpoints.co.uk. There's no car like a Motorpoint car. Test drive one at Motorpoint stores nationwide.
It's past 7 p.m. and your money's winding down. Why not keep it working while you rest? Download the XTB app and let your money work for you. Buy stocks and ETFs commission-free. Invest passively with investment plans. Open an ISA account. Earn up to 4.5% interest on uninvested funds and more. XTB, where your money works.
Your capital is at risk. XTB Limited is a global fintech, not a bank. Deposits should be made for investment purposes only. T's and C's apply.
Football is full of big moments.
Penalty!
The near misses.
Oh!
The last-minute winners.
It's an absolute screamer!
Put yourself at the heart of the action with Betfred. Check out our huge range of football markets, daily offers and price boosts in shops and online. Love football? Betfred. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
From all the drama to a world of wonders and bingeable box sets. It's adventure, it's excitement, it's bewilderment and awe. It's detectives, it's chases, it's even Geordie Shore. It's Yorkshire Vets and Peppa Pig, all creatures great and small. It's Michael Palin, James May sailing, discovering a world to explore. It's real lives, it's saving lives, it's all this and more. Watch it, stream it. It's all on 5.
Total football is about teamwork. It's built on trust, support, and responsibility. LiveScore Bet sees responsible gambling in the same way. So if you're under the cosh, it's time to slow the tempo down. We've got tips and advice on how to stay in total control of your betting. Visit the safer gambling section of livescorebet.com to learn more. LiveScoreBet. Total betting. Bet responsibly. 18+. GambleAware.org.
Talksport Breakfast in partnership with Arnold Clark. We guarantee the best used car deals in the UK. Move up through the gears every morning with top of the range sports edition, ABS, story breaking news, and more goal talk to the gallon. Plus a stellar lineup of super celebrity sports guests as standard. Talksport Breakfast every weekday morning from 6 on Talksport with Arnold Clark. We guarantee the best used car deals in the UK. From the touchline to the terraces.
Across the face and goal, it is!
Kick-off international special.
What a moment!
On Talksport.
For the second time in 3 seasons under Sean Dyche, this town of just 100,000 population or less is celebrating promotion to the top flight of English football.
Does it get repetitive? You've been doing this for a long time now.
Pardon?
You've been around so long.
Sorry?
I said, does it get repetitive?
See, that's how easy it is.
Burnley's finished 7th, they head into Europe next season.
I also smoke exhaust pipes, as I've been told in the past that that's what makes my throat like this. I have gravel for breakfast. That was another thing.
Burnley 2, Spurs 1.
I swear to you, we were playing away at Sunderland and a live human version of the man in Up was there.
But Everton have won 1-0 against Bournemouth to secure their Premier League status.
Deja vu. Who said that again?
Everton have beaten Liverpool by 2-0.
Well, 2 bits of good news coming this Sunday. Johnny Owen's back on Talksport 12 till 2 Sunday lunchtime, and with him is Sean Dyche. Now, Stuart Pearce, you know Sean Dyche well. Do you predict he's going to be a big hit on Talksport Sunday lunchtime, midday till 2 o'clock, alongside Johnny Owen?
No, dog average. He's going to be brilliant.
And you outed me as somebody who sent you a message that didn't wish you well when you were ill. I wasn't the only one, was I?
No, Dyche was straight on the phone straight away and said, whatever you do, don't leave your clothes to anyone. Burn them with yourself if you're going to get cremated, which was lovely of him.
It's good advice, to be fair. Sean, will you be listening? You're going to be on the show, aren't you?
Yeah, I think 1:30. Looking forward to it, actually. You know, she'll be interesting. It'll be brilliant, Dyche. He's good fun and great company.
I was going to say, you know a bit more about him. A lot of what we hear and see of him is press conferences, post-match interviews, but he loves his music, got a great sense of humour.
Yeah, I think he... and we'll have a word with him about it. He says that the first gig he ever went to was with myself, Spear of Destiny at Rock City, you know, which was a wonderful occasion. He's also been to see the Stranglers in the day as well with us. He loves his music. Kasabian were his band, I think.
Okay, when he was singing along at Spear of Destiny, I can imagine Sean Dyche, arms outstretched, they'll never take me alive.
You can see that, can't you?
Okay,
you know what I mean? With that gravel voice in Rock City, it just lends itself.
I will say, Spear of Destiny live, very, very good. Even now, very, very good. That's impressive. So that's Sunday lunchtime, 12 till 2, Johnny Owen and Sean Dyche. The little teaser that Jim Proudfoot set for us. If I've got this right, Jim, 6 younger England internationals than Miles Lewis-Skelly this century. And the little addition was which one had the fewest first-team club appearances. So Darren Bent's gone Theo Walcott, and that's correct. That's one of them.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. Stuart Pearce, do you want to throw in a couple?
Rashford, surely Rashford and Foden.
Okay, Rashford and Foden. I'm not sure about Rashford. Go on.
Neither Rashford nor Foden. So Rashford was older. Incidentally, it's his record that Lewis Skelly has broken tonight for being the youngest debutant England goal scorer. He's broken that by about 5 weeks. But no, Rashford was clearly 5 weeks older, 33 days older than Lewis Skelly.
Okay, so we've got Theo Walcott, and that's it. Wayne Rooney?
Wayne Rooney, yes.
Okay, Jude Bellingham?
Jude Bellingham, yes.
And I'm stuck there. The producer, Keelan, has gone for Callum Hudson-Odoi,
which I think is the hardest of the 6.
Wow, what a man. He's also thrown in Jadon Sancho.
Okay. I'd throw it back at him. No, Jaden's wrong. So you got 4 of the 6. Thanks, he says. 4 of the 6 you've got so far.
Okay, so 2 more to go. So still all to play for.
So I'll give you a clue. Stu, you gave a club debut to one of them. No pressure. And the other has also played for that same club at one stage.
And Darren Bent thinks he's got the answer here. Go on.
I don't know if I've got it, but why am I thinking Micah Richards?
Because you're a footballing genius, Benty. Whoa! That's why you're thinking Micah Richards.
Is that right, yeah?
Yeah, that is right, yeah.
Is that when he burst on the scene?
That's what come to my head straight away. And I thought Piercy's Manchester City, so I thought Micah.
And one more, and there's one more that you haven't got.
Darren, you are the brains on Drive. I never knew this.
You did know that, come on.
Actually, you got a point. But have we got, of the 5 that we've got, so have we got the one with the fewest club appearances? No, we haven't. So that one, okay. Well, very interesting. We'll leave that one hanging. You'll give us the answer.
Yeah, just past the hour mark, 20 minutes time or so.
Well, England are back out there. Thomas Tuchel was out on his own in the dugout, so he said all he needed to say, and the players are back out doing a mini warm-up, and then they're getting in position. Officials are coming out as well. Albania on their way out. I said to you before, they were masters of the low block at the Euros. They're doing it again, but there have been a slight threat on the break as well, and 1-0 they'll be feeling they are very much still in this World Cup qualifier, live on Talksport, where Thomas Tuchel's England lead Albania by a 1-0. Let's get set for the second half with former England striker Darren Bent, former England captain Stuart Pearce, and your England commentator on Talksport, Jim Proudfoot.
Adrian, thank you. No changes at this stage ahead of the second half. England lining up: Pickford in goal, Walker, Conser, Byrne and Lewis Skelly, Jones, Rice and Bellingham, Foden, Kane and Rashford. The unused subs: James, Gahey, Colwell, Livramento, Jordan Henderson, Eza, Rogers, Gordon, Bowen, Solanke, and the 2 keepers, Trafford and Dean Henderson. Albania: Strakosha in goal, Baliu, Ayeti, Jimshiti and Aliyi, Aslani and Ramadani, Asani, Laji, Berami and Azuni. The referee is Alejandro Hernandez. He gets us back underway for the second half. England in all white, and lay it back to their yellow-clad goalkeeper Jordan Pickford, away to our right-hand side. First ball boomed forward as England attack the old tunnel end here at Wembley in the second half, and immediately have a free kick for an offside against the Albanian right winger Asani. It's 5-0 at this stage, the last time that England played Albania here. Harry Maguire, Harry Kane hat-trick, and Jordan Henderson the goal scorers. It was Kane's 4th international hat-trick. Albania have only ever scored once against England. That was a goal from Altin Rakli in Tirana back in 2001. England have now scored 20 against them, including Miles Lewis Skelly's goal tonight. They've got possession over on the far touchline. The ball that's worked by Jones through to Conser, and now down towards Dan Byrne. Byrne down to Rashford, trying to draw the initial challenge towards him of Baliu. He couldn't nudge it past him though, and he goes out of play for a throw to be taken by Albania's right back, right in front of us. Alongside me, Darren Bent and Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, we're just looking, the play's right in front of us here, and I'm just looking at Lewis Skelly, a more aggressive starting position on the build-up. It allows Dan Byrne to drift into this left-back position to build play up, and that'll enable us to get 2 players in and on top of their front line.
Well, Byrne has watched the ball bounce in front of him here, and he's raised his left boot to kick it away on the touchline. In doing so, he's made contact with Azuni, has fouled him, and it's a free kick which will be taken by the Albanians on the right-hand touchline, level with the edge of the penalty area. It's a very similar incident, actually. I talked in the first half about the penalty that this referee gave against England the last time he was here. It's a very similar moment to that. Luke Shaw, it was on that occasion.
Say, Dan Byrne's had a swing of the leg, and because of his height, wow, he's called him straight on the snoz.
He's back on his feet, Azuni. He's okay. He's a player that had a really good goal-scoring record in Spain, particularly in the second division. He got 14 and 18 in the Spanish second division this season before joining MLS side Austin in the States, but it's England's MLS who's found the breakthrough tonight. kick to be taken on the Albanian right-hand side there. Set piece for England to defend. In from Aslani, headed away easily by Kane. And towards the far touchline, which is the Albanian left. Paper aeroplane just makes its way down behind the ball that's played in here. That's headed away by Byrne. Back into the fray again. Another clearance from Byrne as Zazuni was primed to try his luck for the spectacular overhead kick. England can get it away, and Rashford works it out wide towards the right-hand side. Foden scampering after it. Gets the better of the defender, Aliyi. Now he's got the cavalry arriving either side of him. Foden bringing in field. He's just nudged it behind the onrushing Kane. And Albania are going to easily be able to bring it away. Just not quite enough craft and guile about England on the front foot there. Walker's done well to win it back though. The Albanian player has stayed down injured after the challenge. Foden getting it out towards Jones, and as Jones makes his way out towards the touchline, the referee immediately puts whistle to mouth and gives not a free kick, but just to make sure that the Albanian player who's stricken can receive the treatment that's necessary.
Yeah, I don't think there's any treatment necessary there. He's fell over, he's gone to the ground, tried to buy a free kick, and then humiliation has kept him on the floor, I think.
How long, just as a matter of interest, if you're in that position where humiliation's kept you on the floor, how long do you stay on the floor before the humiliation disappears?
Well, personally, until the crowd go home. Then at that stage you look round an empty stadium and say it's time to do one. Would you say that's fair, Bentley?
Yeah, I would say that's fair. I mean, you're probably a little bit harder than I would, so yeah, I think you're probably right.
That's very interesting use of the word probably there. Here's Dan Byrne bringing the ball forward for England down the left-hand side. Declan Rice back to Byrne. Byrne's 5 yards inside his own half. I'm delighted to say that the stricken Albanian player's back on his feet. He's okay. Ezri Konsa just playing the ball over halfway. Rice letting it run towards Byrne. Byrne then had to hurriedly nudge a ball out towards the touchline and try not to hit it too hard so that Lewis Skelly could retrace his steps to keep it in play. He's been able to do that, but Albania have it back with Larchi. Clever back heel flick round the corner, Asani chasing after it, and good composed defending from Lewis Skelly, who made sure that he stayed between man and ball and then was able to turn and get England going again. Rice getting it forward down the England left-hand side for Bellingham. Bellingham trying to draw the challenge of Larchi and then just plays the ball back towards halfway for Dan Byrne. Square to his right-hand side for Konsa and back for Byrne again. Byrne controlling the ball, bringing it forward. England slowing things down again, almost to a standstill before trying to inject a little bit of tempo now towards Lewis Skelly. And Lewis Skelly is fouled. And just going back to that point you made, Stu, right at the beginning of the second half, it's almost more of a back three now for England, and Lewis Skelly's being told to play the Rico Lewis role, if you like, as the inverted fullback into the heart of midfield. Just something else that Thomas Tuchel wants to look at.
Yeah, I think you made a good point there, backing up that there's no doubt it's in front of us now where we actually see it, but certainly Lewis Skelly's position is more aggressive in the build-up, and I think that's good to see.
So an England free kick. And the Albanians are keeping a defensive line on the edge of their own penalty area. It's Foden that swings it in. Heads go up for it. It was Ezri Konsa that got to it. It's come off the back of his head, though, to relative safety. And then a nice turn gets the better of Byrne. And Albania are going to be able to bring it away. And Asani wants a ball to be played over the top. It wasn't forthcoming. He timed his run well from just inside his own half. And might have got the run on Phil Foden as well if it had come first time. England trying to mop up now. Asani going in for a 50-50. Rice won that cleanly. Asani stayed down for a moment. And he's going to be back on his feet in a minute. Now it's played forward down towards Rashford. He's gone down as well. And Thomas Tuchel, bedecked in baseball cap and coat, turns and has a word with the fourth official, Alejandro Muniz, but nothing's given. And it's going to be the Albanians who are allowed to continue from the back. So 7 minutes into the second half. And there's still England 1, Albania 0, as it's been for the last half hour or so.
Do you know, it was great, really good movement from Marcus Rashford, because he came to feet and he spun in behind. It was a blatant foul, but I think that's what England are going to have to do. I mean, they're almost letting Albania off the hook. They've got them in 1v1 situations. They turn away from it. They allow them to get back into the shape. And I know they did that a lot in the first half, but you have to say at some point in this second half, England have to kind of take the handbrake off a little bit and go forward, start flooding men forward, because we've got enough cover back there. It's 3v1, 4v1 from a defensive aspect, but going forward as well, the balls are there to be played in behind, or just play little 1-2s in and around the box, and they're just turning away from them.
involved at a club and you see things like this on match day, in the training schedule the following week, you put on practices where you can't play backwards, and that almost be a proviso for England.
That's all part of the learning process, and as we've mentioned many times, Thomas Tuchel's only had 3 coaching sessions with his new charges, and so there's no way really that he wasn't going to learn a significant amount of information about his new players tonight. I think he will have done. It's just going to be interesting to see on Monday what has changed for that game against Latvia, which is live on Talksport, also kicking off at 7:45. England trying to work it forward here towards Kane. Ali, the left back, can get it away. And Aslani fires it forward, and Zuni's going to chase after that, but easy for England to mop up behind him with Kyle Walker. Walker will knock it square towards Jordan Pickford. Pickford, who becomes the 4th most capped England goalkeeper of all time tonight, overtaking the great Gordon Banks. 74th England cap, and he'll draw level with Joe Hart and David Seaman on 75, you would imagine, in that game against Latvia on Monday. Peter Shilton ahead of him there, but Shilt's 50 ahead of him still. Here's Rice to his left-hand side for Byrne. Byrne coming in off the left flank, about 10 yards outside his own penalty area, under only lip service of pressure from Asani, nothing more than that. Very easy for England to string the passes together. When it goes into the feet of Bellingham, a little bit of pressure is applied. Bellingham with the speed of mind to get the ball off quickly, finding Rashford. Rashford goes back for Byrne. Byrne just gets his left foot behind it and pings an aerial pass out towards the far touchline, the England right-hand side, where Walker's able to make his way forward, but a high boot against Ali gives a free kick Albania's way. 9 into the second half. England 1, Albania 0 here on Talksport.
Yeah, and as I say, I think when the game is still stuck at 1-0, you're always a little bit nervous as a manager. Thomas will know that he can't come out of this game without maximum points, certainly to take in. They would have taken 2 home games in the proviso that will get maximum points out of it, 2 good performances, and while it sits on 1-0, you're always that little bit nervous.
Well, England's record in this kind of game has been absolutely exceptional over the last few years. They've won 26 of the last 27 home qualifiers that they played for the World Cup and the European Championships. They were held by Hungary here a couple of years ago. That's their only failure to win a home qualifier in the last 13 years. It's a remarkable record. And in that time, England have now scored, with Lewis Skelly's goal tonight, 94 and conceded only 9 in those home qualifiers over the last 13 years. In fact, they're unbeaten in 37 qualifiers at home. If you go further back, it was Croatia back in 2007. It rained that night, I think you might remember. England lost at home to Croatia, haven't lost the qualifier at home since then. A little bit of pressure being applied on the Albanian back line. It was a genuine attempt to win the ball and genuinely hurt Ramadani. It was there to be won. Marcus Rashford just caught him, and he's leaning over his opponent now, helps him back to his feet by way of apology. It's going to be a free kick which will be taken on the Albanian right-hand side. Gone second half, England 1, Albania 0. Thinking ahead to the substitutions, Stu, let me very quickly remind you who's on the bench for England. James, Gahey, Colwell, Livramento, Jordan Henderson, Eze, Rogers and Gordon, Bowen and Solanke. Who are you wanting to see? Bearing in mind that you've got Monday, and we would imagine that there will be a number of changes, but is it Rogers that you most feel you want to see tonight, or Eze?
I would probably want to see a wide player, if I'm being honest with you, maybe for Phil Foden, just to impact this game a little bit more, because I think with the formation we play, with the 2 wide players, I think you need 2 players that are actually winger types, and I'm not sure, even if you move Phil Foden to a slightly different position on the pitch, maybe a number 10 role if you don't want to take him off for whatever reason, but I think maybe Gordon might be that individual and put Rashford over the far side.
Well, it's going to be fascinating to hear what you've made of it And we can hear your reaction on our way home. Jenny O'Hara and Carlton Cole opening up the sports bar tonight, giving you your chance to have your say, and interspersed with your reaction, the reaction from Thomas Tuchel and the headline makers as well. With Faye Carruthers, our England correspondent, bringing you interviews from down in the tunnel here at Wembley. But your number, 08717 223344, gets you through to the sports bar. As we mentioned at half-time, Sean Dyche's reaction as well coming your way in that 2-hour special with Johnny Owen, which will be fascinating. And he's a man with a light touch, Sean Dyche. It's going to be a very entertaining listen. Sunday lunchtime for you. 12 till 2 here on Talksport. 1-0 England lead. Lewis Skelly, the goal scorer, fouled there. There's a collision between him and one of his teammates. England get it forward quickly though. Rashford chopping inside onto his right foot. Yeti saw him coming, and then he's brought back by Bellingham, who won it back. Clips it inside the area, and Kane's flick header goes just wide. England's best move of the second half, but laced with a little bit of concern. After that, coming together in the midfield, Lewis Skelly fouled and collided with one of his teammates as he did so.
Yeah, good play there. Once again, Bellingham feeding Rashford in behind. Opportunity to counter-attack quickly. And every time there's been a ball into the box or a forward pass, the Albanians don't fill me with any sort of confidence.
No, I mean, it's good defending in the end there, because Harry Kane's movement's really good, but the defender just leans in him and he can't quite get enough perched on it and quite clearly see what he's trying to do, just glide it into that far corner. There's not a lot of pace on the cross either, and he tries to just flick it into that far corner, but it was good defending there.
Well, he got that hat-trick here against Albania in 2021. 35 goals he scored for club and country this season, Kane. And in fact, in qualifying games for either major tournament against non-top 50 opposition, he scored 29 in 21 games. Hasn't been able to score so far tonight. England on the front foot, beginning to be able to stretch things out. Here is Kane to Jones and try to thread it through towards Foden, who's waiting by the penalty spot. And he was blocked and cleared, but Curtis Jones can go across and pick up the loose ball over on the right-hand touchline. Now Rice into Bellingham. Bellingham again receiving the ball with his back to the direction of play, so he just plays the way that he's facing. And goes to Ezri Konsa. Konsa to Byrne. Now to Rashford. Laid off by Bellingham through the midfield for Byrne again. Byrne down to the England left-hand side for Rashford. Lewis Skelly, who's okay after that collision. Ball inside the penalty area is headed away by Jim Shitty and then helped further clear by Ayeti. Down towards Byrne. Byrne on halfway. Bellingham just takes a touch and then sweeps it across his body to play Kyle Walker in. Kane now to the edge of the penalty area. Jones finding himself as the point man for a moment. Kane playing it into his feet. Jones pirouettes away. Bellingham to Rice. Now to the England right-hand side for Walker. Further wide for Foden, who will take a touch and work it back in field. Another 1-2 between him and his Manchester City teammate Kyle Walker. Rice will come onto it. Bellingham in a central position outside the penalty area. Albania getting forced deeper and deeper. Konsa to Kane. Right-footed ball clipped over the top. Volley back across the edge of the 6-yard box. Might break Foden's way. But Strakosha will come out and play.
Yeah, great ball there. Once again, Kane just opening his body up and feeding it in. Good movement once again in behind. And every time that ball gets played into the box, something positive seems to happen from it.
And that's the quality Harry Kane's got again. I mean, and that's why he drops so deep, because he's probably standing up there wanting that type of service, and you see him Rice get on the ball, Bellingham to a point. No one's really looking for that pass, and the moment Harry Kane gets in those little pockets of space, his head's up, little feeding pass in behind, and it's always with great quality as well. Right way to pass into the right area.
Albania bringing forward again. It's gone out of play for a throw that they will take on this near touchline, and Albania are going to be the first to make a change, and Slough-born Armando Broja is going to be coming on in a moment. The Everton striker on loan from Chelsea. He's only scored 2 in his last 43 games in club football. He's got 5 international goals to his name, and he's going to be coming on in a moment. I don't know whether it will be a straight swap for Azuni. We'll find out, but it is only going to be one change made at this juncture. So the ball goes out of play. Header back from Rice. Potentially took an awkward bounce from Konsa, but Azuni didn't read it. That made Konsa's job much easier. He can then work it forward. And it comes down towards the left-hand side for Rashford. Rashford running with pace inside the penalty area, and coming across the cover of his run. The ball put out of play for a throw by Ivan Baliu. And they will be able to make a change, and it's actually Barami who's coming off, and Breuer who comes on to replace him.
We saw him at the tournament in the summer, very good on the counter-attack, got the ability to go past people, so you're certainly going to have to keep an eye on him. While the score stays 1-0, there's always a little bit of nervousness in the air, but I think I wouldn't be surprised if England are going to make 2 or 3 substitutions, if not more than that. Four of them have gone through strenuous warm-ups just in front of us.
So both centre forwards on the pitch have now got previous experience of playing under Thomas Tuchel. And here's the other one, Kane. Armando Breuer made 5 appearances right at the back end of Tuchel's Chelsea reign. Here's Byrne. Lewis Skelly waiting on the left-hand touchline. Byrne will nudge it forward instead towards Rashford, who is halfway between the pair of them. And now down towards Jones. A little bit of pressure being applied by Aslani. Jordan Pickford having one of those nights where he's glad he's not getting paid by the touch or the save. He's playing sweeper keeper, only about 15 yards inside his own half as he picks up possession there. 4 from him to Byrne, back for Pickford, who will be hoping tonight brings him his 35th international clean sheet. For the Konsa to Rice, England leading 1-0. That's been the scoreline for the last 45 minutes of play. It's the stage of the first half, and the man in possession now found the breakthrough. Miles Lewis Skelly, worked forward by Jones. Here's Kane inside the centre circle, and he scooped the ball perfectly with the top of his right boot out towards the right hand side for Foden. Walker's made a run past him. Again, England's possession not quite laboured, but at times not too far short. Certainly not at a magnificent tempo. Byrne has it. England nudging their way forward to within about 10-15 yards of the edge of the Albanian penalty area, as they've done on countless occasions so far tonight. Byrne with a little back heel flick in towards Rashford. He's lost it, tries to win it back. Lewis Skelly does win it back, and then rides the next challenge that comes in, and still he's got it, and he's got it forward here towards Jude Bellingham. Tries to get it out from between his feet. He then attempts to set up Lewis Skelly on the edge of the area, but Ayeti read the situation again, comes forward from the defensive line, and works it out towards Asani on the Albanian right.
Yeah, England have got to be careful there. Brozier's a different animal totally. He's got that element of pace. If he goes beyond you, you'll not catch him. So it's important we don't leave him one-on-one.
Ball out of play for an Albanian throw. I'll give you the answer to the trivia teaser shortly. Dan Byrne beaten here by Breuer, who got past him. Byrne did well, forced him towards the byline, and the angle then was prohibitive, and he had very little in the way of support. Zuni tried to get forward. He's just dropped out to the left-hand side since they made the change. He's taken Barami's position, with Breuer going through the middle. We've played 65 minutes. England 1, Albania 0. And the flow of paper aeroplanes making its way down is a little bit more steady. More paper aeroplanes than real aeroplanes down the road at Heathrow today. Here's Byrne coming forward again and literally stopping things. He's put his left foot on the top of the ball and he's just waited to see what would happen. Gets it forward here for Declan Rice. Rice to Walker. Back from him to Konsa. Nudged into Declan Rice's feet again. Now towards Byrne. Stops the ball on the halfway line and then flicks it forward towards Curtis Jones. Jones turning it through the midfield towards Rice. Bit of pressure applied from Azuni. Konsa's got it past him, out towards Walker. Walker to Foden. Foden on the right-hand touchline. First thought seemingly always to come back inside. Jones down to Rashford again. Rashford coming in off the left, right-footed ball inside the penalty area, easily volleyed away by Ayeti, straight to teammate Larchi. And Breuer lays it off and is given a push in the back by Konsa once he's got it clear. And now he goes out of play for a throw. 1-0 England. This was the trivia question we sent you in the first half. Miles Lewis-Skelly, England's 11th youngest England international. There have been 6 younger this century. We asked you who they were and which of the 6 have made the fewest club appearances at the time. At half-time, the boys got Walcott, Rooney, Bellingham, Hudson-Odoi and Richards. And a little bird tells me, Benty, that you know the 6th one.
Well, I'm going to go Raheem Sterling.
Raheem Sterling is correct, and he is the one that had got the fewest senior club appearances behind him when he made his England debut. Only 20. Lewis-Skelly has 24. For reference, Theo in the low 20s as well, but it is Raheem Sterling of those that have made the fewest appearances at club level when making his England debut. So change is going to be made here for England, and we're going to see both Anthony Gordon and Jared Bowen coming on, Stu.
Yeah, I think for the sake of the game and the tempo of the game's almost run aground at the moment, Benty, hasn't it?
Yeah.
We've got 2 players coming on that have got the ability to run past people and take people on. I hope they do exactly what they do for their clubs.
Well, do you know what? He was the first one I thought of straight away.
Oh, Breuer's turned burn. And he's running forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Ball threaded inside the box, and it was Walker at his most alert who just came across from the right back position and tracked Zuni's run and got there to be able to get it away. That was a nervy moment there that England have survived.
Yeah, I mean, again, Breuer using his body, and if you're Mando Breuer, you know full well Combs has got the pace. Dan Burn, he's big, he's physical. You know what I mean? You're not going to win many aerial battles. If I was Breuer, I'd pull off him and spin him behind him every single time. But the service has got to be right. He did it down here about 10 minutes ago on the byline when he managed to get almost in and get a shot on goal. And in that situation there, if the service is right, he'll get in every single time.
Yeah, as I say, he offers a different dynamic, Breuer. He's got that ability to spin you and go in behind, and the last thing we want to do is switch off to him.
Bellingham, 15 yards outside the penalty area. England leading 1-0. Hasn't been a vintage performance for Thomas Tuchel's first game. The most important thing, I suppose, from this point is that England make sure that they hold on for the last 20 minutes or so, because if this doesn't end in victory, it will be a really inauspicious start. Lewis-Skelly getting it forward here, continuing his run. Kane peels back from the edge of the penalty area. Yeti following him every step of the way. Ball laid back for Rice. Foden coming onto it. Wonder if he'll be one of the players coming off in a moment. Setting up Lewis-Skelly here. Left-footed ball clipped in, and Strakosha comes out, jugs it a little bit. Got it away from Jude Bellingham. I was able to clear it the second attempt. Back it goes out to the England right for Bellingham again. Bellingham can't find a way past Ali. Foden, now Rice, and Jones from distance lets fly. That hits Jim Shitty on the edge of the penalty area and is blocked. It comes back out for Curtis Jones again. 70 gone. Still 1-0 England lead. Foden. It's past the discarded white paper aeroplane that is lying on the pitch over on the far touchline. Back from him to Kane here to Walker. At the moment, when it's only 1-0, it's not a precarious lead, certainly not with a capital P, but you're just one defensive error away, one burst of electrifying Breuer pace from a very dispiriting result.
Yeah, and we've seen a couple of gypsy warnings already, haven't we, in that respect, you know. I mean, another sub has come to join Bowen and Gordon. Looks as though coming on. Is it Rogers?
Yeah, it's Morgan Rogers in a moment.
As I say, you would expect certainly the 2 wide players to be coming off.
Bellingham driving forward through the middle. He ran down a cul-de-sac. Albania again, get it away in towards Armando Breuer. Down to the right-hand side for the fullback Ivan Baliu. Kane coming back, and he in direct confrontation there with Breuer, about 15 yards from the halfway line. So he's going to be Rogers, Gordon and Bowen to be coming on in a moment for England, who haven't made any changes as yet. In the final 20 minutes, Byrne going up for it with Breuer. Breuer's flicked it on into the box. The sliding challenge was really well timed from Konsa. It was a good run in from the left-hand touchline. Jordan Pickford is just indicating actually that the Albanian player who made that run is down hurt and might need a little bit of treatment. Albanians are asking Curtis Jones to stop the game here. So to the referee, it's not up to England. Indeed, he is back on his feet away to our right-hand side. It might have been Aslani that was making the run forward there, but again, a slightly nervy moment for England. They haven't got this one yet. Walker out towards Foden. Foden to Declan Rice. Rice taking it, working it back towards Byrne. Byrne to Lewis Skelly. The young Arsenal tyro has controlled it and works it through the midfield with his right foot for the run of Rashford. A little backheel flick. Bellingham with a right-footed shot. That's blocked by Jim Shitty. Not his first important block of the night either. Now we're back towards Konsa again, who's also been forced to make a last-ditch intervention at one end of the field. Ball chipped over the top here for Kane, and he's headed it past the on-rushing Strakosha. Oh, Yeti made a mess of that. Did he hit his arm as it bounced inside the box? It's come off him and gone out of play for a corner. Strakosha coming out. Kane just nudged it past him, and then the keeper and Yeti between them did their best to put it in their net for an own goal.
Every time that ball enters the box, the Albanian backline contrive to keep the ball alive and give England an opportunity. Goalkeeper have a disaster trying to come out and punch the ball. Kane flicking it on. And then Yeti, I'm not sure what he's trying to achieve there.
And it was almost abominable from Yeti there. Has it really taken 73 minutes? The changes will be made. Foden off, Rashford off, and Jones off. So Rodgers, Gordon and Bowen on for Rashford, Jones and Foden. The guys' thoughts on that triple change in a moment. First of all, though, this England corner, which can't actually be taken yet because Strakosha has gone down hurt inside his 6-yard box, and he's going to need a little bit of treatment before the corner can be taken. So, Benty, what are your thoughts on that triple England change?
Yeah, it makes sense. Certainly the Jared Bowen one. I thought Phil Foden, he played on the cusp, I thought, tonight. Didn't do anything real positive. Every time he got the ball wide, he went backwards. Didn't really want to commit anyone. Rashford, I thought he tried to be positive at times, but maybe gave the ball away a little bit. But Morgan Rodgers, what he's been doing for Aston Villa all season, getting on the ball, trying to commit people and just trying to unlock things and trying things. I think we've been a bit too safe this evening. I think everything's been in front of Albania, which has made it easy for them to defend. So the triple change for me made sense.
Yeah, I've got to agree with that, and I think to have two players that are happy to pick the ball up and drive past their fullbacks is a real positive. And in this formation, I think it's absolutely vital that we get two wide players that absolutely do that. But time will tell whether they actually have sat watching the game and decide for themselves, what does this game need? And if you're Gordon and you're Bowen, as soon as you pick it up now, go and take someone on.
Well, Morgan Rodgers made a couple of good appearances off the bench in the November games. Given his debut by Lee Carsley, he's one of 6 players to be given an international debut by Lee Carsley. We're still waiting for his full debut. There's every chance you think that might come on Monday. We're going to see an Albanian debut in a moment, as Pajzitti is going to be coming on. It's part of a double change. First of all, though, this England corner. So England have made their triple change. Albania's double change is imminent. First England corner of the second half. In from Rice, in very deep, headed back across the edge of the 6-yard box. Gordon going up for it's clear. Out for Lewis Skelly. He plays back to Walker, and Walker will go all the way back for Jordan Pickford. Pickford still only 20 yards inside his own half. He gets it now, drives it left-footed, hangs high towards the edge of the Albanian penalty area. 1-0 England still, with a 20th minute goal from Lewis Skelly. Ball inside the box here. Yeti got his angles right that time and got it away from Byrne, who's still forward. Cleared out as far as Lewis Skelly, who just heads it forward again towards the edge of the Albanian penalty area. And then when it's only temporarily cleared, he'll have a third go at getting it forward. But Byrne has retreated somewhat. He plays it down towards his club teammate Anthony Gordon, who hasn't played any football since he got that red card in the FA Cup against Brighton. Maybe one of the reasons why he wasn't in the starting lineup today. Walker coming forward, down towards the corner flag. Picked up by Declan Rice. He's chipped it in, looking for Kane. Oh, Yeti caught under the flight of it, and Kane scores. Well, it was inevitable after the defensive mistake. He's just sailed over his bald head, comes down for Harry Kane. Another milestone for him. The first England marksman ever to hit 20 for his country. He's never failed against Albania. He took a decent first touch, fired it into the bottom right-hand corner with his second. Points to safe now. A winning start for Thomas Tuchel. England 2, Albania 0.
Yeah, the 2-0 margin now should see England safe. And that just emphasises the point that we've all been talking about for the majority of the game. Put the ball in the box and the Albanians all contribute to getting you a goal. And Harry Kane must be thinking at this stage of the game on 70-odd minutes, hey, is there any chance of us putting the ball in more regularly? That was a schoolboy error by the back line, but a very good clinical finish.
It was a lovely finish. I mean, the ball into the box wasn't even of any real quality, but he tried to outmuscle Harry Kane. And once he gets it down in that position, I mean, he gets a bit unfortunate with the touch of the inside of his thigh, but once he gets it under control, it's a really composed finish. He doesn't try and smash it. He just uses the defender and just feeds it into that far corner. It's a lovely finish from about 7 yards out.
So that's 5 in 3 that he scored out against Albania in his career. 70 goals for England in 104 internationals. 64 of those in his last 77 starts. His numbers are just extraordinary.
I've got to say as well, Jim, sometimes you look at a finish like that and you think, oh, it was an easy-ish finish. I'll tell you what, it's not. Benty, you know probably better than most how difficult it is.
Yeah, I mean, some people usually try and answer that it comes in hit the first time, but the moment he just kills it and kills it dead, he's just using that composure to just use the defender and just feed it into that far corner. It's such a calm, composed finish when the box is all chaos.
Well, Strakosha has gone down again, and he might need a little bit more treatment. His race could be run here. He's gone down holding his face and seems to be in some discomfort. This is a hangover from the earlier problem that he had, not a fresh one. They've made another change, Albania, in the aftermath of that goal. Hodja has come on for Asani, and Pajaziti, who's only born down the road from here in Camden, is on loan at Gorica in Croatia from Fulham, for whom he made one appearance back in 2021. And he's come on for his international debut here. Now, the score in the under-21 game is France 4, England 3. England scored very early on in that game with a goal that is now credited to McAtee. Harvey Elliott has scored as well. We'll confirm the scorer of the third England goal for you very shortly. But it's France 4, England 3, midway through the second half of that under-21 friendly in northern France tonight. You're not missing anything here because Strakosha is still down injured, and it may well mean that Elan Castrati, the goalkeeper who plays his club football in the second division in Italy, might be able to come on for his competitive debut very shortly. We're also going to see Jordan Henderson introduced shortly as well. I think Henderson's inclusion in the squad was the one that probably divided opinion more than anybody else's, and this breaking player will give us a chance just to analyse your thoughts on that.
Well, for me, Hendo, I've worked with him. I know what he offers the squad, and Tuchel's not shied away from making a contentious inclusion, let's say, bringing Hendo back in, and I know he'll be very proud to be part of this. He probably might have thought that his time was gone with England, but you know he'll give everything that he's got.
Yeah, I'm the same with Hendo, playing with him and known as long as I have done. Like, I don't think it was a case of him getting called up because he hasn't played much football. I just think because we've got so many bodies in that particular part of the pitch, I think that's why people were like, well, why are you then calling up Jordan Henderson? But he's definitely someone who'll never let you down. He'll keep it ticking over. But also that voice in the dressing room, that leader, that calming influence. And I know what he's been like with the young kids, certainly when he was at Liverpool as well. I think the fact that Thomas Tuchel's called him up, I don't think that should be a big story whatsoever.
Well, he's going to come on here for what will be his 82nd cap, his first since he played against Malta back in November 2023. He's only lost one of his last 23 appearances for his country, and he's had the odd injury, particularly this season at Ajax, but he still made nearly 70 appearances since he left English football. He made 17 in Saudi. He's played 51 games for Ajax now. And he's going to be coming on here, as I mentioned, for his first international cap in 16 months. And there's a brief embrace between him and Declan Rice as he enters the field. And the Albanians have swapped their keepers around as well. Strakosha off injured, and Castrati is on for him. England 2, Albania 0. We didn't see any stoppage time at the end of the first half. We're going to see loads of it at the end of this second, with 8 minutes of normal time to go, but I reckon that'll be added to by 5 or 6. The ball worked forward towards Hodja, one of the substitutes on the Albanian left. Well read again by Byrne. Bellingham able to try and turn in the midfield, and was just run out of it by Ramadani, who's fouled him, and it's a free kick that England will take about 20 yards outside the penalty area. Don't forget, England leading Albania 2-0 here on Talksport, and Jamie O'Hara and Carlton Cole will be opening up the sports bar after this game. Your chance to have your say on 08717 22 33 44. That's the number that gets you through to the sports bar here on Talksport. England take the free kick quickly. Good improvisation by Gordon. Worked inside the penalty area. Albania get it away. Breuer just firing it past Lewis Skelly, but briskly out of the left-hand touchline, where Hodja had no chance of being able to keep that in, and it's gone out of play for an England throw. Attendance tonight, just a little over 82,000, which is a decent crowd for a pretty inclement evening here in North London. England back here in 72 hours' time. We will be as well. Latvia at home. The second game of Thomas Tuchel's reign, live, of course, here on Talksport. Conser in possession on the edge of the centre circle. Forward from him to Jordan Henderson. It's the cue for a brisk run down the right-hand side from Gordon. Bowen is there. If they can work it infield to him, they can't, but they have won a throw, which will be taken down towards the corner flag. Anything else you just want to see in the time that remains, Darren?
We might see Dominic Solanke maybe get a few minutes, I think, at the end. I know he's had a relatively good season bar injury at Spurs, so we might see him get a few minutes as well. And just, I like how positive Jarrod Bowen's been. He's only been on the pitch for 5-10 minutes, but since he's got the ball, he's had a bit of movement there. He tried to get the cross in. He's had a couple of occasions where he's tried to get crosses in and be really positive. I think that's something Phil Foden didn't do in the time that he was on, but it's been good from Jarrod Bowen and certainly Anthony Gordon as well.
Bowen just waiting for the ball to come into his feet there. He was a sub in England's last game, came off the bench against Ireland and scored his first international goal. Still a chance for him to make it 2-2 tonight. He's just played the ball back here towards Conser. Gets a thumbs up for that. Now worked forward by Lewis Skelly. Trying to split the ball between the lines for the run of Gordon, but it's just overhit and Castrati can come pick it up.
Yeah, right pass, good pass, but he just overhit it slightly, and good movement from Gordon. Just come off his perch a little bit. He'd have got good first contact, good opportunity.
5 to go, 2-0 to England. Lewis Skelly with his first goal for his country, and Kane with his 70th. And England 2 goals to the good.
Do you know what, Jim, as well? Do you know what else I'm looking forward to seeing? If Reece James could get more games at Chelsea, after their relationship at Chelsea and how effective he was, certainly, I know it was more of a back three and him playing at wing back, but their relationship and how good we know Reece James can be, just to see how maybe he finds himself in England's squad. Does he start? It depends on the formation that they play. That'd be fascinating as well.
Well, he played 74 games under Tuchel in his time at Chelsea, and in 58 of those 74 he played at right wing back. Didn't start all 58 of those, but at some stage he played at right wing back in just ahead of the back three in 3/4 of his appearances under Thomas Tuchel. That might be a part of the long-term thinking. I still reckon that by the time we get into the World Cup itself, that this team might have gravitated to playing that system. Lewis Skelly's got very little experience of playing it, or no experience of playing it at first team level, but you can see him playing as a left wing back and James playing on the right hand side, a back three which can gravitate into a back four if the situation decrees. I think that might be the way that England go. I was half expecting England to start that way tonight, but not to be. Jordan Henderson in there just a little late. Play goes on. The Albanians still in possession. Gordon trying to win it back. And no advantage as Breuer was tackled by Gordon. So it has been pulled back for a free kick that will be taken on the Albanian right. And right on cue, we are going to see Reece James just get a few minutes. And he'll be on for his 17th cap for England in a moment. Ball chipped over the top here by Aslani. Conser, who's been solid tonight, just gets it away from Azuni on the edge of the box.
I was just going to make the same point as you just made there, Jim. Consor, he's been quiet. The interception he made in the box was vital at the time as well. But he's been nice and steady away at the heart of defence.
Pickford, Consor, England playing their way out from the back very calmly under a little bit of pressure. Just inviting that press and playing through it easily. Albania then dropped off and England work it back, and Pickford's got it again. They're 3 minutes plus stoppage time away from getting off to a winning start here, as England managers tend to do. They will extend England's positive run in qualifying games to just one defeat in the last 65, which is remarkable. Unbeaten in 32 World Cup qualifiers, which extends their record as the best on the continent at the moment. No other nation's got an unbeaten streak as long as that in World Cup qualifiers right now. It's Jordan Henderson again with the ball at his feet. And a quick game between him and Jude Bellingham. 3 or 4 passes between the pair of them. Now Kane drops short to join in. Henderson getting it forward again. There's been times when he thought this opportunity to put on the famous white shirt would never come again. Determined to make the most of it. Ball out towards the Albanian left-hand side though. Hodja can get it away. Just chips it forward to relative sanctuary, but Jude Bellingham's there first. 90 seconds to go. 2-0 England lead. 4 from Henderson. Into the feet of Bellingham. And England finishing the game as they started it, with pass after pass, and the Albanians just chasing shadows. For the first 20 minutes, Albania's possession was in single figures. Burn. Now to Henderson. Henderson for Consor. Consor turning it back. Still Reece James waits, hands on hips. England can maintain possession as easily as this for the time that remains. He might not be able to get on for his 17th cap. Lewis Skelly's got it now. Ball from Lewis Skelly to Henderson. Now a chance for England to bring it forward with Consor from the back over halfway, just too far ahead of Bellingham. Consor's continued his run and then got caught as he tried to flick the ball forward, and it will be an England free kick about 15 yards outside the box, and so they can make the change, and it's going to be Lewis Skelly that comes off, and he's going to get a big ovation. He's had an outstanding night on his England debut, which has brought him a goal and an England record.
Yep, I think he's had a good solid game to hit the back of the net as well on your debut, and if I was pushed for a man of the match, he certainly would be in the mix, that is for sure.
I talked before the game started about the fact that England played a match against Albania nearly 25 years ago, which brought Ashley Cole's debut at left back. He became an England legend, and you don't want to put pressure on an 18-year-old's shoulders, but I just wonder whether, in the fullness of time, Lewis Skelly's England career, which has also begun against Albania but begun with a goal, will be mentioned as fondly. Here's Gordon, right-hand side of the penalty area. We're in 5 minutes of added time. Albania get it away. Goes back out towards Hodja. Clever pass from him through the midfield, where Pajaziti's going to be able to pick it up. Back from him to Ayeti. Ayeti to Baliu, and then down the right-hand touchline for Broja, who's looked composed and decent in possession. He's had that yard of pace as well, which has caused problems on occasion. The first minute of stoppage time here on Talksport. Your reaction to come on the sports bar. 08717 223344. Fake or others will bring you all the reaction from the tunnel, and our reaction on the latest debrief podcast will be on the Talksport YouTube channel with Adrian, Benty, Stu and myself. That'll be uploaded later tonight on the Talksport YouTube channel. With Gordon showing great bravery to come and try and deal with a clearance from Baliu down the right-hand touchline. He's knocked him off his feet, and he's just in a little bit of pain. He's leaning over right in front of us, and just being helped back to his feet now. It's going to be an Albanian throw.
Yeah, I think he's just winded him there. He's up and on the move now, which is good. My perception was that the longer this game would have gone on, the more looser the Albanians would have got and maybe freed up goal scoring opportunities, but England look as though they're quite content with a 2-0 victory to move on.
Yeah, I'd say that Just one of those nights where this is seen as a building block, the first building block for what lies ahead. Under 16 games starting tonight in competitive fixtures between England and World Cup glory. Pickford comes out, sweeps up on the edge of his own penalty area. Bernard made the run back with Azuni. Pickford came out, took responsibility. Bellingham's onside, but I don't think Bowen was. In fact, the flag has come up against him. It's a free kick to Albania, 10 yards outside their own penalty area, and they've taken that quickly. They've only ever scored once against England. They've never scored on English soil. Time running out for them to get what will probably just prove to be a consolation tonight, but it would certainly be something tangible for them to take back to Tirana. Ball is with Ivan Baliu again on the right-hand side, finding Breuer. Zuni going back through the middle, Breuer playing on the right now, and Gordon's come back and has conceded another throw. Still doesn't look right after being winded a few moments ago. The second ball on the pitch just for a moment. Baliu will retrieve that and just kick it down towards the hoardings as play goes on around him. Here's Jim Shitty, the Albanian captain. Back from him to Aslani. Right-footed ball towards Baliu. Easily knocked away by Reece James. Taking a touch and then working it back. It's his first international appearance for 2 years, almost to the day, Reece James. His first game that he's played at left-back for a while in an England shirt. Down towards Gordon. Gordon chipping it over the top. Jude Bellingham watching it come over his shoulder. He's got a Yeti between him and goal. He's outside the penalty area on the left-hand side. England looking to set the seal on 3 points with a third goal. Back from Bellingham here. James Ford in support. He's gone backwards. He finds Henderson. He goes backwards. Now to Konsa. Konsa out towards Kyle Walker. Walker's ball to Bowen and back for Konsa again. And England just keeping possession as the clock runs down with just a minute to go. Bird to Pickford. Pickford taking a touch. And another. And another. Just rolling the ball with his studs of his right foot back inside his penalty area. Then fires it out towards Walker. And England launch one last attack. They've got it forward here for Bellingham. Down towards the left-hand side for Anthony Gordon. Gordon on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Tried to nutmeg his man to get it inside the box. He couldn't quite do that, and it's cleared. And Albania will bring it forward again. Gordon across the cover.
He's in trouble, Gordon. I'm telling you, he's not recovered from going down earlier. He's limping back there, Jim, and he's just hit the surface, and I think he'll have to come off.
Well, the full-time whistle blows, and the game ends with Anthony Gordon lying on his back in pain on the Wembley turf. The start of Thomas Tuchel's reign, maybe, just maybe, a little bit inauspicious. Not a dazzling performance, not a performance that makes you think that anything has changed, no flicking of a switch. But Miles Lewis-Skelly became England's youngest ever debutant goal scorer 20 minutes in. Harry Kane's 70th goal for his country set the seal on the victory 13 minutes from time. Not a huge amount to remember, apart from the 2 goals, but it's a win. England off to a solid, if unspectacular start to life under Thomas Tuchel, who will know that there are better days ahead. But a win's a win, and England have beaten Albania by 2-0.
Well, surprised there weren't more paper aeroplanes, to be honest. And when I look at it, I think that Thomas Tuchel may have learned tonight, Darren Bent, that when you make big promises before your first game, it's international football. It's England at Wembley. It's against the low block. It's going to be very difficult to excite the fans in the way you want to. So I admire his promise of exciting football, but I think he's just realised how difficult that's going to be to deliver to the fans time and again here at Wembley.
Yeah, potentially. I just thought they started the game quite slow. I know Albania in that low block, but they came out maybe in second gear as well, was keeping the ball. It looked pretty possession-based football, and it was, I think Jim was saying there, it was 90% possession at one point, but they just didn't quite get on that front foot, that ascendancy. I thought there was times where they could have put the ball in behind, been a bit more direct, just to kind of move Albania about. But as you said there, Adrian, you're 100% spot on. I just think maybe he thought, right, with the players that we've got, because you look at the likes of Kane, Bellingham, Foden, if you're an England manager getting to work with these type of players, you're probably thinking, there's no way we can play that passive football, and maybe that's why he said what he said. But as you said there, it's easier said than done when you've turned up to Wembley and Albania have defended really a stoutly, been difficult to break down. He suddenly realised very quickly, okay, this is a little bit more difficult than I thought.
Absolutely, and he will learn that. Listen, he's new to international football. Some of us listen to him and we're enthused by the excitement. We want him to deliver on the promise. We want England to be exciting to watch, but that didn't happen tonight, and he's got to find a way to break down low blocks when that happens here at Wembley. It was roughly 75% possession for England, 25% for Albania. They didn't have a shot on target. England, 12 efforts, half of those were on target. But when you look at individual performances, I think that's what people will do. I want to look at Phil Foden because he's a brilliant footballer, not having a great season. He did last season. But I just cannot understand how somebody with the amount of talent Phil Foden has got cannot impose himself on this kind of game against the opponents that he's got. No disrespect, but Phil Foden he has world-class talent. Oh, he's not showing it regularly this season. But how can he not impose himself on this game? Darren Bent, I do not understand it.
Do you know what, Aid? Confidence is a massive thing. It doesn't matter how much of a good footballer you are and how special you are. If your confidence is low, you're going to find it incredibly difficult to do anything. And I think he showed that tonight. There were moments where he got into really good areas, whether to cross the ball or have a shot on goal or to go 1v1 with the fullback. And every single time he got it wide, he'd either turn back and go back to Carl Walker, or he'd turn down the opportunity. Now I think Phil Foden of last year probably gets it, goes past the fullback, or if he's on the edge of the box, how many times did we see him last season pick up the ball just on the edge of the D on the edge of the box, open up his body and just smash it into that far top corner? There were a couple of times today he got in that same position and he looks at it and went, now I'll go back to Carl Walker, and took the safe option. And that's the thing, it doesn't matter how good you are as a player or how big a reputation you've got, if you haven't got that confidence to try things, these are the type of performances you put in. Whereas you look at someone like a Jude Bellingham, even when he wasn't having the best of the times at the start of the season for Real Madrid, every single time the confidence is still flowing, he still believes in what he's doing. And that's something Phil Foden, although he's a special talent, he's won everything there is to win, these are moments where he can still improve as a player. And I thought tonight he was just on the cusp and really passive.
I think as well, just to carry on that theme, I think the position he played is not helpful to him or the team in some ways. He plays out on that right-hand side. I've seen when I've put and been part of teams that have gone up against Manchester City, when he plays on this left side, he's more effective. And I would even say, playing in this formation, I would rather see two wide players that are actually wingers that are going to run past somebody. That will, especially against a low block. So when you do get it in those wide areas, you know that ball's not going to come back all the time. And maybe you're going to have to look to either not play him or play him in a position that he might prefer, which being more central.
Marks out of 10 are back, by the way. They'll be up on the website very shortly. Stuart loves them.
I can't wait to read that.
Stuart loves them. We may do a video of those as well if you want to check that out on the Talksport YouTube channel a little bit later on as well. Phil Foden obviously will get a mention. Well, while we're talking about the wingers, Stuart, what did you make of Marcus Rashford on his return to England duty tonight?
I thought he was steady away. I thought he was okay. I wouldn't say that he was outstanding. I would have liked to have seen him from the offset of the game say, hey, I've got my tail up at Aston Villa now. I've been given a lifeline by a new manager coming through the door. First time I picked the ball up, we're having a foot race down that touchline. You know what I mean? I didn't see that. He eased his way into the game. Listen, I've played fullback all my life. I love it when these wide players want to ease their way into the game and go backwards and sideways. It's beautiful, you know. When they pick it up and run at you, you think, oh my good God, I don't want any of this nonsense.
Yeah, there was parts of me that were impressed with Rashford, but I think we know he's capable of much, much more.
Yeah, I think in and around the box, I think you can quite clearly see he's still trying to find that form, where to shoot, when to pass it, that quality into the box. But as Piercy was saying, he's 100% spot on. As the game started, the first thing I would have done is, the moment Lewis Skelly got the ball, I would have just turned and sprinted as fast as I could towards their goal, and the fullback would have gone, oh my goodness, like what am I going to do here? So then the next time Lewis Skelly gets the ball, that's how you create your space. Because he's thinking you're going to sprint that way, you then go and get the ball to feet, you turn, and then you run at him, and then the fullback hasn't got a clue. I do think for the first 15-20 minutes he kind of ambled on the edge, just got the ball, popped it off one touch, and didn't really affect the game too much. But once in the second half he started to get into it more, he started to create one or two more problems.
He could have petrified his fullback, you're right, but he just didn't take the opportunity to do that this evening. Let's talk about the two debutants, because Dan Burn and Miles Lewis-Skelly I thought had very different debuts. Nobody wants to hammer Dan Burn. It's an incredible story, but he got done a few times for pace, and he even got beaten in the air by Armando Broja at one point, which the flick-on sent an Albanian player through on goal. And I think Dan Burn is, as much as we love him, he's probably not going to be a first-choice centre-back. Great for the leadership qualities, but we've got a few of those, like Henderson, now Dan Burn, maybe Maguire might come out. All leaders who might not be in the first 11, and quite a few squad places might be taken up by those kind of players. I thought it was a tough debut for Dan Burn tonight, Stuart.
Yeah, I've got mixed views on that statement. I think, listen, he's nearly scored a goal in the first half. He got some brilliant blocks in and around the penalty box in the first half for us. Broja come on, and Broja's probably his worst nightmare. This kid can spin and swivel and run at you, and he went past Dan a couple of times. Dan Burn will give you everything he's got.
Yeah,
that's the end of it, and he's going to come up short on the odd occasion. I think for his first game for England and whatever, he's done reasonably well. There's always that proviso, if you come up against someone quick and sharp that's going to cause you a problem. But in the main, he's been part of a clean sheet at the back. Konsa helped out on occasion. I think he went under the radar a little bit. I think he had a really solid game at the heart of defence. And the young boy at left back, well, what can you do? You're 18 years old, you score a goal. Fantastic for him.
It's the big positive of the night, isn't it, Darren Ben? You're obviously an Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
Celebrity Arsenal fan, Darren Ben, the only ex-Spurs player who gets love every time he goes to the Emirates. Listen, all Arsenal fans will be so proud, but England fans should be proud as well, because this is a teenager who's come into the team for his debut. He's played superbly. He's got a goal, but even away from the goal, I thought his energy and his game knowledge, everything about him tonight, I loved it when he was on the ball. Wanted him to get the ball more and more, because I love watching him play. Miles Lewis-Skelly was fantastic tonight, easily man of the match.
Outstanding, yeah, I agree, man of the match, and you can quite clearly see he just doesn't play fullback. He's obviously spent a lot of time in those central areas, which is why he's so comfortable in possession. I thought he intercepted stuff really well. He read the game, the situations really well. He tried to get England on the front foot as well. But you almost come to expect it with him. I remember his debut in the Champions League against Monaco, where he was absolutely outstanding. He got on the ball, he made things happen, and I'm thinking, whoa, you're only 18 years old playing in the best club competition on the planet, and you're just playing as well as that. And then tonight again, he stepped up to his full debut, and I genuinely think, I know it's early doors, but I think it's his shirt to lose now. I think you don't put in this level of performance and then worry about what happens next. I think if he keeps playing for Arsenal, which I think he will do, certainly with the news about Calafiori's injury as well, I think that is his own position. If he keeps putting in those type of positions and those type of performances, I can't see who's going to get the shirt from him.
Yeah, Stuart Pearce obviously played in that position, but this boy's got a big future. There's a lot of caps ahead of him in an England shirt. I just feel fortunate, lucky that he's English and we've got him, and he is going to have a big England future.
Yeah, there's a wealth of young talent in England, there's no doubt about it. I think we're the envy of the world, some of the young players coming through. The key to me, and I've always said this since I've been part of the under-21 setup, is nurturing these players and maximising them and their abilities through their whole careers. You know what I mean? He's in a brilliant position now, broke into the Arsenal squad, broke into the England squad. We need to make sure that he comes out at the other end of it as being part of a winning England team that's got a multitude of caps to his name and fulfilled that potential that we know he's got. And that goes for a lot of the England players as well.
And I think that's why it is crucial why you have people like Jordan Henderson in the squad. And certainly when you play, as the oppositions get a bit tougher, the likes of John Stones, who's got a number of caps, if Harry Maguire comes back, Mark Gahey, I think all these players, Jordan Pickford, will help him. And that's why Thomas Tuchel was quite clever in terms of bringing people like Jordan Henderson back, because Miles Lewis-Skelly, he would have been nervous. I know his performances didn't show that, but he's bound to be nervous. He's an 18-year-old kid. So I think having that experience and that leadership group around him is only going to help as well.
Group K, England 2, Albania 0. The other result in the group, Andorra 0, Latvia 1. Latvia here on Monday night, and of course it's live on Talksport. And a friendly, Northern Ireland 1, Switzerland 1, and in Scotland tonight, Partick 0, Wraith 0. Unlucky if you went to that. Do you know the Rugby League scores, Stuart Pearce? Are you interested in those at all? Yeah.
Always, go ahead.
St Helens 12, Warrington 14. And that's full time. And Wakefield 12, Hull FC 16, still playing. Happy?
Obviously not, if we've been dipped at home. Thank you.
You've just beaten
St
Helens 14-12, yeah.
Oh, I'm absolutely delighted. I was expecting a defeat, as you can imagine, you know what I mean? Oh, beautiful.
You're not that bad, mate. It's not quite winning at Wigan in the Cup, but there you go. On Tuchel's promise, Darren, he wants to excite the fans. Obviously, it's over the course of time, and we've got to build up over the next year and a bit until that World Cup. That's when it really matters. But was he wise to make that promise? Because I think a lot of people were bored in here tonight. I'm just going to call it as I see it. I think they were bored watching that.
Certainly the way it started, but I think by him making that statement now and watching how they perform this evening, I think Monday will be a much better performance, because he's now seeing, okay, this is where I can tweak it, this is where I can change, even personnel, maybe changing the personnel and getting players that want to go at the fullback, maybe want to play on the front foot, and that might be a scenario where he's like, okay, because I'm sure he was a little bit nervous as well. And okay, he is an elite coach, he's won the biggest trophies there is to win, but there's always going to be that element of nerves to it, because it's your first international job, it's a powerhouse like England as well, so much expectation. But now he's had a look at the players and the way that they've played this evening. I think Monday will be a much better performance.
And I think Stuart Benty's right. I think there will be changes in the personnel come Monday night, live on Talksport against Latvia. And I think in some ways it kind of has to be better, because it's such a short-term thing, and everybody knows what the challenge is for Thomas Tuchel. He's here until next summer, until after the World Cup, and the idea is that he wins us the World Cup. Then you don't just want results, you want performances as well. And he's on board with that. He's agreeing with that. He's saying, yes, I will deliver. I want to deliver performances. I'm going to try and deliver performances. So Monday night has to be better than this, doesn't it?
Yeah, you would hope that there's going to be a performance that was better than this. You know, the result, obviously, we're delighted with tonight, kicks off the campaign on the winning vein. But the other side of that is he spoke about the training camps and the limited training camps. That's why you've got to maximise the games. And Jim probably made a really good point that he will juggle the pack a little bit. We expect him to do that, to maximise both of these games, to get victories, but to have a good look at these England players.
A word on both goals. Miles Lewis-Skelly with the first goal, and he was basically a left winger, not a left back, wasn't he? And I love the fact that he just wanted to run in the box and get on the end of it, strong to hold off his man and create the opportunity for him to have a shot, and nutmegs the keeper. Brilliant.
Yeah, great upper body strength. He's shown that even in possession throughout the game. But once you get into that area, and that's what I said during commentary, is that some players in that position, certainly at 18 years old, you get excited because you're in the box. Oh my God, my first goal for England, and you choose the wrong option, tries to blast it, take the lever off the ball. He just kept himself composed. The goalkeeper presented an opportunity, opened his legs, and he just rolled it between the goalkeeper's legs. Really composed finish.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Stuart, Harry Kane as well. Let's say it wasn't a great ball into the box from, I think it was Declan Rice with the ball into the box. I don't think it was spectacular, but he'll get an assist for it. This was about Harry Kane controlling a difficult ball and putting away the finish.
Well, we spent the whole evening putting balls in the box that you wouldn't say were fantastic balls in most of the night, but they caused panic, and we didn't do enough of it. And when it went in, Harry Kane, I'll tell you what, if people are looking at that, you think, it's a comfortable finish. I'll tell you what, the likes of Benty, who made a career at finishing, you realise as soon as your first touch is right and you stop that ball, panic ensues around you. And the coolest head in that box was Harry Kane, who knew that I'm just going to fade it round the defender that's advancing at me. And it was, well, listen, he's probably skimmed the post to put it in there. Fantastic finish by him, and probably on another day he could have had a hat-trick. He had one blocked and a header just skimmed past.
And some great passes as well. I thought he was one of England's better performances with Bellingham, and obviously Lewis-Skelly, but 70 England goals. Harry Kane, Darren Bent, I mean, that's an insane number when you think about it. It's hard for it to sink in.
It's scary, really scary. Now, people that question whether he should play for England or not, whether he's good enough to start. I mean, you look at his numbers since he got to Bayern Munich, and then as you said, there's 70 goals for England. I mean, he is the very best that we've got, regardless whether you've got other players and other centre forwards that are having purple patches. We've got some good ones, but he is at the top of that ladder.
Darren Bent, Stuart Pearce, Jim Proudfoot, thank you very much. England debrief on the Talksport YouTube channel later tonight, featuring myself, Jim Proudfoot, Benty and Stuart will all be giving our views on what happened. You can check that out. Marks out of 10 are back as well, about to go up on the Talksport website. A few surprises in there maybe. Wasn't much fun, was it? Tuchel said he wanted his England to excite us. Well, that didn't happen. Let's try again Monday night here at Wembley against Latvia, live on TalkSport. The Sports Bar is next. There'll be reaction from Wembley as well with Faker others during that show. 03717 223344.